myself again. But it's the only...
Good afternoon and welcome to NUFC Matters with me, Steve Wraith. It is match day live. It is Newcastle United against Everton at Goodison Park. And as always, I've got a panel of Newcastle fans to talk us through the game. And God knows where we'll go. We ended up talking about an old 1980s programme the last time we were on, Monkey Magic. So who knows where we'll end up today. But the starting lineup is there. Well, it's not the best one. We'll talk about the starting lineup in a minute. There's only one change. And this is the Chris Hall derby because Chris, of course, lives in Liverpool. And tell us a little bit about your home arrangement, Chris, and who supports what in your household, please.
Yeah, so obviously there's me, the Newcastle fan, like the black sheep, as I have been for my whole life in Liverpool. So there's just myself supporting Newcastle. My wife supports Everton. My youngest lad supports Everton, and my eldest lad supports Newcastle. My eldest lad supports Liverpool. So there's quite a big mix in the house. And I've got my little girl, Summer. She's on the fence. She says she likes Newcastle, Everton, and Mo Salah. So I'm still working on Summer, but yeah, it's a bit tense this morning. I've got to be honest.
Well, that's why we've given you prime position as the leader of the chat today. So it is the derby which involves your household more than most. So the team today, Darlow, Lascelles. Well, we've only got one change, haven't we? I'm just waiting to get the graphic up, so bear with us. But we've only got one change. Manquillo's in, isn't he?
Yeah,
he is.
Yeah, he's done it.
Yeah, what's your take on that starting lineup then, Chris, for Newcastle?
You know what? I've been speaking to obviously a lot of blue mates in the past few days, and this will give you an inkling as to what I think of the lineup. The one thing I said was, if we are starting either Shelvey or Hendrick or both of them, we're in big trouble. And lo and behold, we're starting Jeff Hendrick and Jonjo Shelvey. And this is against the midfield, Steve, which contains the likes of James Rodriguez, Decore. I think I'm really pleased to see that Allen's not playing for Everton. Again, I'm not 100% sure why that is. Maybe an injury, but I'm pleased that Allen's not playing. But that midfield, it's like you said a few shows ago, Steve, it feels like he wants the sack. Because that team, that midfield is not going to do anything for him. Obviously, I'm pleased that Ryan Fraser's, starting his second consecutive game. Pleased about that. Pleased that Miggy's in because you know how much I love Miggy and his work rate. Obviously, Callum Wilson up front's always a threat, which is great. And again, it's the five at the back, isn't it? Why are we going five at the back? I appreciate we're away to a side. In the top echelons of the league. So I appreciate that. But, Bruce needs the result. He doesn't need a 0-0. He doesn't need a scrappy 1-1. He needs a win. And, I don't think that lineup is going to give him it. I want to be proven wrong. And honestly, I would love nothing more than to win. We need the 3 points. We need to get away from this relegation, threat. We're not quite in it yet, but it definitely feels, like the league's starting to form. A few weeks ago, you could have said one of 8 teams, would be in trouble. But now it's certainly looking like the bottom 5, bottom 6 are a push for me. I think Palace are going to pull away. West Ham have pulled, not West Ham, sorry. Let me just have a quick look at the league, actually, just to... Yeah, so Palace are pulling away, Wolves are pulling away, Burnley are starting to pick up a little bit of form. So for me, it's looking like the bottom 5, Sheffield United, West Brom, Fulham, Brighton and ourselves. And this is my concern. And, it's games like this, we've got to turn up, we've got to do something. And that lineup worries me, I'll be honest.
Okay, Spenny, I did notice a little toy there sitting in your seat before you came on. Is that your Jordan Pickford toy? I thought he was going to present the show.
It's reserve keeper, it's reserve striker for us.
What did you make of the lineup then? Just to go through it now that we've got the technical glitch out of the way. Carl Darlow, Javier Manquillo, Isaac Hayden, Fabian Shaw, Jamal Lascelles, Jamal Lewis, Jonjo Shelvey, Jeff Hendrick, Miguel Almiron, Ryan Fraser and Callum Wilson. On the bench, Dubravka, Clark, Matty Longstaff, Andy Carroll, Joe Linton, Alan St Maximin, Gale, Kraft and Anderson.
Well, for me, the bench looks stronger than the first team, first 11. If you look at that, you know what I mean? I don't know. Manquillo, yes, I'm pleased he's back, but The midfield, I don't know whether he's going to play Hayden in that middle with them and just play 4 at the back. It's your guess as good as mine, mate.
It could be 4-3-2-1. Looking at it,
Aye. Because I know Lascelles demands a defensive midfielder in front of him now. So it shields the defence, apparently. That's a centre half.
Joe.
yeah,
Captain as well.
Huh?
yeah. Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see what the formation is as we kick off. Got about 22 minutes till kick off. Daz, your take on the starting lineup, the Everton lineup, out of interest. Pickford does start in goal, probably because there's no fans in. He tends to miss out when Newcastle fans are in town. Coleman, captain in the team, of course. Keane, Digna, Mina, Decore, Awobi, Sigurdsson, Rodriguez, Richarlison, and Calvert-Lewin. On the bench, Virginia, Olsen, Kenny, Holgate, Gomez, Godfrey, Gordon, and Davies. Daz, your take on Newcastle's lineup today, please.
Yeah, well, first of all, actually, I had a bad start to my day. 5 minutes ago, I walked into my door, so I got a nice little shiner. So yeah, that's a great start to the day. It can only get better from there. Let me see. The Everton, just on the Everton lineup, they were missing Rodriguez and Richarlison the last time we played them, and got a result. But look, our own team, the 3 big problems: Lascelles, Hendrick, and Shelby. They shouldn't be in our starting 11. I'd like to see Clark, Longstaff, and obviously ASM. But ASM he's probably going to start him against Palace at this stage. So, but we're kind of set up for try and stay 0-0 up until half time, and then unleash ASM probably around the 65th minute again. And depending on whether we're 1-0 down or 2-0 down or 0-0, and then go for it and try and get something from the game, whether that be a draw or well, I'm not even going to think about anything else. I think we'll be looking for a draw at that stage. But that's what I think of the team.
Yeah, okay. Good assessment. Al-Walid, good afternoon. Your take on the Newcastle lineup, and congratulations on winning your award last night, mate. I saw your tweet. You said it felt like the Oscars. Tweeted the week, nominated by Steve Hasty. Well done, mate.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Yesterday I came late at home, so I just and I was very sleepy. I went for hiking, and I was very tired. But I insist to myself that I have to watch it. So I went to see the competition, and I noticed too many tweets, and I'm very honored that I went for this time. I really appreciate your support, Steve Hasty, and Mitch, and you, Steve. Also, Keith Patterson supporting me and messaging me in the DM. Really glad for that. Maybe later on, it's a game day. Maybe later on, maybe in worldwide show or any time you would like, if needed, to explain what was this really about.
Well, I think we'll probably have time today, because I can imagine this match is going to turn out like most games. So well, I will come back to it. I will come back about the
anytime.
Tweet, so what's your take on that? What's your take on that team today?
All right. It's looked like Steve Bruce insists on the plan, and it's like 5-2-3. But the right and left back, Jamal Lewis and Manquillo, they are a little forward, so we will make it like as 3-4-3. I think I'm not sure why changed Murphy, but I think because 2 mistakes. It was the 2 goal last time. It was his mistake. First goal, he lost the ball under pressure, and second goal, he mismarking his position on the right when we received the second goal. For me, I don't know. Maybe Graeme Jones still did nothing still yet, because no change so far. Let's hope Saint Maximin will play while the score is 0-0 at least, because I can see there is Richardson, as you mentioned, guys. Richardson and Rodriguez will play this time beside Calvert. Everton first game we play. It was the biggest win for us since very long time. We've been lucky this time. So I hope to be lucky as well tonight. It's very, very hard to. It's going to be a very hard game.
Yep, it certainly will be. Good afternoon, Chris.
Afternoon.
Good to see you. The lineup then, Newcastle's lineup lines up as I said, with only the one change today, Chris. We of course will see what the formation is like in due course. But what was your take on that today?
Yeah, I mean, I like Wilson and Fraser up front, but it's hard for them to get any service if you've got Hendrick and Shelby in midfield. I just like all the lads have said, it's like that's the worst possible pairing you could have in terms of dynamic, attacking football. Those guys are just going to sit back deep and do their occasional Hollywood pass, but I have no confidence in that midfield to produce anything for Newcastle. And like Sonny said, our bench almost looks stronger than our starting 11 outside of the front two. So, I was optimistic. I was not optimistic in the last game. I predicted a 4-1 loss, and probably more of the same this week. And by the way, I'm having an issue with my BT Sport, so I might dip out, figure that out, and then come back in if I sort that out.
Okay.
I don't think I can do a whole game where I'm just reacting to you guys because it'll be bad.
No problem, Chris. No problem. Pete, obviously we've got a new coach in town. It doesn't look as if he's had much of an influence on Steve Bruce yet. And Steve Bruce, in his pre-match interview with Keith Downey, quite a long interview, was maintaining that he's a Newcastle fan, that he knew fine well that Graeme Jones was coming in, and that he'd spoke to Lee Charnley about it and said that they needed to freshen things up, so they decided to bring a new coach in, and that he also spoke interestingly about the press. And why he had banned certain members of the written press, and more or less said that it was because it was fake news that they were writing. So I found that interesting as well. But yeah, talk about the team, and maybe a little bit about how Bruce is set up and whether he's been influenced by Graeme Jones.
Well, first things first, Steve Bruce did not bring Graeme Jones in. I think it's been quite clear and everyone knows that. So that's bullshit right from the beginning. In terms of how he's speaking about the media, I don't get that. He is well within his rights to be criticised right now. And let's be honest, for the last 18 months, he has been protected by that same media time and time again when he could quite easily have been criticised. So he can't now start pointing the finger and ask that they tone it down a little because he doesn't like the fact that they're writing negative things about him. He deserves everything that's been written about him negatively, whether it's in the press or on the TV media. He deserves everything because look, no wins in 11 is not good enough. That is relegation form, and more importantly, that's sackable form. No other manager in the Premier League would have continued in that vein, playing the type of football that we're playing. Sheffield United, yes, we're not playing well, but they've come off the back of a European season potentially last season, and then let's face it, regardless of how they're playing, they've got a fantastic manager there, a manager that they trust, the manager that the fans trust, and they've shot way above what they were expected to achieve. So that's all been in perspective. Steve Bruce has had money to spend. He's at a bigger club. He's got better players, right? He should be doing a hell of a lot better right now. So all of that is a load of rubbish, in my opinion. With regards to today's game, Graeme Jones seems to be having an influence. He's been seeing on some of the pictures and on social media that he's been taking a lot of the drills, particularly passing drills. He's been quite an influence on the warm-up today with the other assistant coaches as well. So it seems like he's getting to grips with it. How much of an influence that will have today, it remains to be seen. With regards to the lineup, I always look at the Newcastle one that you put up on there, Steve, and the way in which they line the players up gives me an indication on how they're setting up as a team. And with Hayden being The second one in after Manquillo tells me that it's a 3 at the back. So we set it up at 5. Am I surprised by it? No, I'm not. Because we're away from home against an Everton team that are in great form at the moment, that are, on the tilt to challenge for the Champions League. So we have to be relatively cautious. But again, Chris alluded to it, having Joe Shelvey and Jeff Hendricks in that midfield raises serious alarm bells there. We are going to get overrun at some point during this game, whether it's the beginning, the middle, or the end, because they haven't got the legs. And it was obvious against Leeds, and it'll be obvious again today. So that really disappoints me. Hopefully, at some point, Clark will come on and it will push Hayden into the midfield at some point in the game. I hope that's going to be within their thinking. And obviously, naturally, St. Maximin comes on. Look, Chris again raised a really good point about Allen and why he's not playing. And he's probably because he's come back from injury. However, they don't need him. Allen is a defensive midfielder. When are Shelby and Hendrick ever going to overrun Allen and try and get in and behind him? They're more likely to sit back on our back three than they are getting above Allen. So they wouldn't even need him today. So it doesn't even surprise me that he's not even playing or even in the squad. It's this one game in the season where he's not going to be relied upon at all. But look, let's hope that we've got a little bit more of an attacking intent that we showed in the last 25 minutes. I hope, recent performances on Almiron, regardless of the result, it has shown that actually there is more to Almiron than just running. He's got ability, he's got intelligence. We just need players around him to make sure that comes to fruition. And we need to create chances for Callum Wilson. He's a goal scorer. But he's only a goal scorer if we give him chances to score, and we haven't. We need to do that today, because the one thing about Everton, regardless of their recent record in defence, is that they can leak goals. And with that goalkeeper, we should be pummeling him with shots today. Absolutely pummeling him. 25 yards, 45 yards, 60 yards, I don't care. Because with those little arms, there's always a chance.
You should get in and do the team talk, Pete.
I wish I could, I'll be honest.
Babbo, back by popular demand, mate. Good afternoon.
Afternoon, lads.
Your ideas, please, on that starting lineup. Are you encouraged by it? Are you dismayed by it? Or are you indifferent?
I am indifferent at this point. There are just sometimes when you repeat the same thing over and over again, you just know what to expect. Now, Dave mentioned something. I think when Bruce was like, "Oh yeah, they brought in Graeme Jones," and we talked about it. I'm like, this guy did not have control over any of the signings. If Raffle could not have control over people he was bringing in, I'm not sure what Steve Bruce is gonna have control over. So he's stuck in between a rock and a hard place, because they tried to set up Raffle as the fall guy, but Bruce is playing his part very well. Everyone is just focused on Bruce, not what's going on around the club and who's really destroying stuff. So right now, I just feel bad for Bruce. So he's out of his depth and he needs help, which is why they brought in Graeme Jones. So regardless of what he says and how many times he stares at the screen and gives us that lie, we all know what's happening. Lineup. I think with a reasonable level of tactical proficiency, we'll be able to get something out of the game. Now, Jeff Hendrick and Shelby, as you guys have said, they can't run. So what's the point of them trying to be box-to-box midfielders? Now, if they just sat back and let Manquillo and Lewis push forward, and then let's overload the middle part of the pitch, that's fine. We don't need Shelby to be running up there if he can't get back to defend, because that's more of a loss for the rest of the team. Why Hendrick is starting, I have no idea. My problem with the lineup is it does nothing to counter any of Everton's proficiencies, right? Lascelles is slow. He tends to hesitate. I bet you during this match, you see it at least 3 times where Calvert-Lewin will get in front of Lascelles. We all know that. We can alter. So why he's starting there, I have no idea. As for this double 10 thing he said he wanted to play, I don't think he understands what that meant, because Everton, as big a club as they are playing with double sixes. Yeah? That means when they are defending, they have 6 at the back. They don't even have 5 at the back. We play 5 at the back and we defend with 10 at the back, and we're still conceding goals. So I think something needs to change in this next match. And to be fair to Bruce, he cannot change this lineup now and the formation, because if he does, it will be apparent to everyone and their grandma that he's not in control of what's going on. So he technically has to stick with this for at least this match, and maybe the next match we'll play a different formation. That's my take on it.
Nope, good stuff from all of you guys. We seem to have lost Chris, who did say he was going to try and sort his internet out. And Chris Hall, well, not sure why he's disappeared. We'll get him back on as soon as possible. So, coming up towards kick-off time, got about 7 minutes to go. Let's have your predictions. Spenny, how do you see this going today? Oh, you've done a Spenny. Spenny's done a Spenny. He's muted himself.
I'm going to be positive and go for a 1-0 win for Newcastle.
That's not the first time I've heard that today. That is not the first time I've heard it. I've bumped into a few people on my walk today, and 1-0 win seems to be popular. Daz?
The head says a defeat. The heart says a draw after, and again, an amazing second half and ASM running all over the place. So I'll go with the heart. Yeah, I'll go with the draw today.
Going for a draw. Okay. Al-Walid?
I expect to see good things today, but not a win, unfortunately.
Are you expecting a draw then, Al-Walid, or are you?
Draw will be great for us.
Yeah, but that's not a prediction.
All right, you want me to say it? Okay, I don't think we are going to win today. I'm sorry.
We all know what was coming, don't worry.
We do, yeah. Okay, Pete, Chris Hall's come back in now. Now we've got yous all over the place. I like to go in order, as you know. Pete, we'll get yours next.
Look, you look at their attacking lineup and you think we're going to get absolutely smashed, and it could well be the case. But I'm going to go Newcastle 2-1. I'm just going to stay positive today, regardless of the result. Let's just be positive, for once. So I'm going to say 2-1 Newcastle.
2-1 Newcastle. Okay, Babbo?
I'm going the same, 2-1 Newcastle.
Okay, wow. This is putting me completely on the opposite side of the
fence.
Positive
vibes, okay?
I am going for a 2-0 Everton win. What about you, Chris, then, in the Chris Hall derby?
Mate, I want some of whatever Pete and Babbo were having. I need to have a drink of that. I'm really sorry, boys. I'm seeing 3-0, yeah, 3-0 Everton. That midfield is just shot. If we had Matty Longstaff in there, somebody with a little bit of legs, I might have felt a little bit more positive. But, no, sorry, I think 3-0 Everton. I really hope it's not. And if we score, I'm going to go bananas. But we probably won't.
You know what?
Yeah, go on.
Fair, right? I will settle for just a very good performance from the lads, because we all aren't expecting them to win this match, but we're trying to be positive, right?
Yeah.
So they can't do no wrong. And for some reason, they seem to not know that. Maybe because Bruce is the one that's getting fired and he's just taking all the negativity out on the lads, regardless of how nice a guy he is, because he seems not to be doing anything. But I'm still positive. 2-1 to Newcastle, okay? Let's wipe all this bad juju away.
Go bad.
I'm just trying to do something different, just because I've been negative. I've said 3-0s, 4-0s, whatever over the weeks. Look, are we going to win? Probably not. But like Babbo said, if we put a performance in, that would be good to see going into a really important game, in the week. So, look, we just want a little bit of hope. I think that's what me and Babbo have gone for today. Just a little bit of hope.
Got to win sometime.
Well, we've got to, Law of averages said we will win sometime, John from QTech, good afternoon. He says, Irish Ant and Deck have been in a ruck already. Martin's sticking one on him. The problems of fame. This is obviously because of your new weekly show on a Wednesday night, Daz, Loaded Football. How's it going?
It's going great, Steve. Yeah, we've done 2 shows now. bit of hiccups the last time, a few technical glitches and whatnot. But no, we go again next Wednesday. We had Jace Campbell on the show last Wednesday, so you can catch up on the player on YouTube, and we have PG Chiletta coming up on this Wednesday. So yeah, another musical number, and with a bit of football thrown in, as the title suggests, a lot of football. But no, we haven't fallen out. We haven't. There's been no punches up. I haven't drove 2.5 hours to meet Martin for the first time face to face, and he's given me a slap rant. And no, I ran into the door 5 minutes before I ran from the show. But hey, you'll have that. If that's the only bruises I end up with today after this game, I'll be happy. I'll take one for the team.
Yeah, good stuff. Okay, the teams are on the pitch. They're just getting ready for the kickoff as the lineups once again are announced on Sky. So we'll do the same for you if you're just tuning in. Carl Darlow in goal, Manquillo, Hayden, Shaw, Lascelles, Lewis, Shelby, Hendrick, Almiron, Fraser and Wilson. On the bench, very strong bench, it has to be said. Dubravka, Clark, Matty Longstaff, Andy Carroll, Joe Linton, Alan St. Maximin, Gale, Kraft and Anderson completes the lineup. And Everton, very impressive team. I'm sure they will be there or thereabouts at the end of the season, certainly in the European slots. Pickford, Coleman, Keane, Digne, Mina, Decore, Iwobi, Sigurdsson, Rodriguez, Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin, and on the bench, Virginia and Olsen, Kenny, Holgate, Gomez, Godfrey, Gordon and Davies, as Ancelotti has a quick chat with Steve Bruce, probably about the amount of letters he's received, and certainly seemed to be something about that, because Duncan Ferguson's having a right laugh about it. And yes, all jokes aside, I'm sure Steve Bruce does have a few fans out there, and just not many, and probably not many Newcastle fans. I think most of them are probably Sunderland fans. But Chris, can you see your house from this aerial shot of Goodison Park?
No, not quite. No, I'm about 8-10 minute drive away from Goodison Park. So. Right. I'm pleased that there's no fans in the stadium, because I wouldn't want to be hearing any cheers and stuff like that. But I'm sure I'll hear cheers from the other bedroom. So let's hope I'll be the one cheering. That's what I'm hoping.
Interesting. A lot of people mentioning in the chat, no Matt Ritchie on the bench, and I think it's probably football's worst kept secret that Bournemouth are interested in him, and it looks very likely that Matt Ritchie will finally leave Newcastle United this week and go down to Bournemouth. Is that a mistake?
Given our current squad, yeah, I'd say it is. I think we need personality. We need somebody who puts the effort in. And as you all know, when I talk about Miggy, that's why Miggy's always in the 11 for me, because of his effort and his work rate and his endeavour. And Matt Ritchie's exactly the same. And to be honest, when I was on Twitter the other day, and I saw a lot of people, giving Matt Ritchie, a bit of a hard time in terms of, we need rid of him, he's past it and blah blah blah. And you think, you know what, he's been a great servant to the club, and if he does go, I'll be sad to see him go. I hope we keep hold of him. I mean, back in the day, I have had my doubts over him, and if there's a takeover, he is one position that needs upgrading. There's no doubt about it. But where we are right now as a club, you'd want Matt Ritchie on your side in the trenches with you. Most definitely, you wouldn't be wanting to get rid of characters like Matt Ritchie. So for me, I do feel like it's a bit of a mistake.
Okay, yeah, it does. I mean, I'd be disappointed if Matt Ritchie goes. I think I've made it more than clear on here on more than one occasion that he's my favourite player at the club. And, they used to say it about John Anderson when I first started watching Newcastle. If you had 10 John Andersons, you couldn't go far wrong. He'd run through a brick wall for you. And that's what Ritchie does. And, at the current moment in time when, we're getting dragged into a relegation battle, surely we need somebody like that.
Yeah, no, I can hear what yourself and Chris are saying there, Steve. For me, I'd be more on the other side, though, to tell you the truth. Back in his day, Ritchie was great for us, and he a great servant to us and everything like that. But I do think he's past it now, just in the Premier League and for us. He's great for the leadership and to the GA1 up or whatever. But no, I think I don't mind seeing him go if he goes, but it's all about who we're going to bring in, because we need some kind of reinforcement for sure. But no, I'd say all the best to him. Back to Bournemouth, where he was before. But yeah, back when both Shelby and Ritchie got renewed contracts, I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, like, why? We should be like making changes, and we need something else to. They can't be they can be subs, let's say, but they can't be the starters every week. So and I think they get them those contracts so that they wouldn't lose them for nothing. And with the idea that they would sell them on. And okay, I wish they'd do something with Shelby as well now and get rid of him. But so I'm not going to be too disappointed if Ritchie goes, but I do wish him all the best, and I thank him for his service. That's my thoughts on Ritchie.
Fair enough. Go on, Babu, over to you, mate.
I kind of disagree, but I understand why you have that view. Now, Ritchie is one of the best performing players we've had at Newcastle. He's ambitious. He gives who else on the pitch slaps people's heads and go like, make sure that doesn't happen again. We don't have characters like that. And when you're in free fall, you need people like that. Now, we all know that Bruce is not capable of attracting any players that are worth their salt. So losing Matt Ritchie now is going to be a blow, especially since we don't have any other person who's going to play in the left back position. So it's basically shooting ourselves in the foot for the sake of what 5-10 million pounds, and then we get relegated, and then we have to sell our own players. So in the long term, it doesn't make any sense to me, or maybe it's because I like Ritchie. I don't know why I would say that, but it's true. It just adds a lot to the team that we need right now. And selling him to Bournemouth know why they want him. We all know why Bournemouth wants him, because he gets the ship out of the lads. So selling him now, to me, doesn't make any sense. But knowing Ashley and the way decisions are being made in Newcastle, yeah, he's probably going to leave. And as I said, Lascelles is too slow. Picked up a yellow. There we go.
Yeah, crazy decision, really, to sell Ritchie. And as Babu says, a yellow card, an early yellow card for Jamal Lascelles, a Scythen challenge. Referee had no hesitation in pulling the yellow card out. Newcastle have ventured into Everton's box and did manage to forage a chance, but not a shot on goal yet. And they're wearing that horrendous yellow strip, so at least they'll be able to see each other and potentially pass to each other. Spenny.
Steve.
Yes.
Steve, sorry, Spinny. Yeah, could I just say something back? But for me and Ritchie, like, Bruce isn't playing him now. He hasn't played him for I don't know how long. He gets the odd time, comes on as a sub. So for me, like, if we have him, play him, and then yeah, I'm all for trying to keep him. But if he's just going to be taking up a squad place and sitting on the bench or not even in the matchday squad, I'd rather see someone else in there. That's kind of also part of my thinking there too.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, and I think I think you're right. I think he certainly fell out of Bruce's plans for whatever reason. Much the same as Gale and Sean Longstaff, of course, probably for different reasons, we're led to believe.
I kind of think they probably just told him, like, look, we're tired of playing this shit football, and he was like, we're gonna do it my way, or you're not gonna play. Which seems to keep happening, because to be fair, right? Bruce is like, oh, we have Carroll, we're going to hit the long ball. And you play Wilson, and then you hit the same long ball. So he doesn't even have the tactical knowledge to be able to use these players. And I can't imagine, I work in architecture, and there are some times where I'll tell my boss, look, what you're doing is wrong, but if you want me to do it, I will do it. But I'm letting you know my professional opinion is this is rubbish.
Yeah,
that's how it works. Same way, I don't see Ritchie taking all this shit down and being like, "Oh yeah, I'm just gonna be quiet and take it up the ass." He's not that kind of player.
Yeah, no boss likes to be told he's doing it wrong. Let's face it. But unfortunately, we're all human, and sometimes we do make mistakes, and sometimes we do things wrong. So it takes a bigger man to admit that. Spenny, your take on the Ritchie situation?
Fair enough. He's 31-year-old. But for me, he's a motivator in that dressing room. When you're down the bottom of that league, you need motivators in the dressing room. And he speaks his mind, and he'll tell them players what they're doing wrong and what they're doing right. And that's what you need. He should have been captain of that club for me, instead of Lascelles. He's got the experience, Plus, he's linked up play with Wilson and Fraser. He knows what their players are about as well. They're playing with them. So I don't think he should have been sold if he's going to be sold. I reckon Longstaff's got his way as well. Sure, not Jack Longstaff because he's had a fallout with Bruce and Yedlin as well. So
yeah. Lots of dressing room fallouts happen throughout the season. It's how you deal with them at any level of football, and it's clear to everybody that there's certain players who were in favour, clearly not in favour now, and Steve Bruce has to manage that. Maybe the new appointment of Graeme Jones will take some of this situation, or take the sting out of some of this situation, when we might see one or two of these players working their way back in. Pete, I mean, I've made my point clear about Ritchie. What's your take on it? Quite different opinions on the panel. I just think, in this current moment in time, getting rid of a player who gives 100% and, can chip in with the odd, match-winning goal, which he has on more than one occasion, could be a big mistake.
Yeah, look, first and foremost, I absolutely love Matt Ritchie. I thought it was a fantastic signing when we brought him in under Raffle. I think he's been like so valuable to our club, and for me, he goes down as a legend. If he does leave the club, he goes down as a legend for me, just because the guy cares. He cares about the club. He loves the club. I don't know if there was an interview, an hour or so interview that was going around on social media that I watched the other week. And he talked about all of his career, but the way he talked about Newcastle and the fans, and he loved living in the city, and he just when a player just gets it, when you just get it. For someone that is so far down south, it's from so far down south that has come so far up north and just gets it and just is able to settle and loves the city and the club. That means everything, and it means so much. However, it was very, very clear that once he got when he returned from that horrible injury last season, that he'd lost half a yard. And it was very, very clear straight away that he wasn't the same all-action, machine-like Matt Ritchie. That Matt Ritchie, before that injury, pretty much played every single game and ran himself into the ground for 90 minutes in every single game. But you could just see him, and whether that's because of Bruce's way and his tactics, or whether it's just because he is 31 now, I don't know. But he just didn't look the same player, and he hasn't looked the same player since. He's still got quality and technique, but in this setup, and I've said it before, in this setup, in the way in which we play, you need runners and you need workman-like players. And he was trying so hard, he was starting to make mistakes. So I'm not against the fact that he's going. I think the timing's not right. But actually, we need players on that left-hand side in that position that are runners and that are able to get up and down, even if it's just for this season only, until hopefully the takeover goes through. Because let's face it, if the takeover goes through, he's one of those players that probably won't stay around anyway. And there's a few of them in that dressing room that probably wouldn't stay around anyway. So look, we've been linked with the likes of Aiton and Miles, and one or two other players. Whether they come in or not, I don't know. But if someone like him was going to come in, I wouldn't be against the fact that he leaves, because I think someone like Ainsley Miles could really give something to this team and make a difference. But it's all a big if right now. It's all ifs and buts. Personally, I wouldn't be moving him out until our players through the door. And we know we've got that player in the door, then let him leave. But classic Newcastle, we work the opposite way. So it's likely that we let him go and then we don't get a player and then we're screwed even more so. So if that move materialises, great. But it could well be that he moves on and we don't replace, which for me is massive alarm bells, and actually reminds me a lot of when we sold Given in the January transfer window just before we went down in 2009. That was such a heavy blow in such an important season. And it potentially, if we don't replace him, it could remind me a lot of that.
Yep, fair enough. Don't forget,
Come on, Wilson.
we are supporting the match day bucket, NUFC fans, foodbank.co.uk. Obviously, with the situation, the pandemic, we don't get the opportunity to collect outside grounds anymore. So please give that some support today and make a donation to the NUFC fans, foodbank.co.uk bucket. A great initiative. I think they made over £800 in the first week, which is superb. Alwaleed, your take on Matt Ritchie, please.
The thing is, Steve Bruce stick to 3 player with attacking roles, and we notice Almiron, now Wilson, Fraser only. So before, like last 2 months or 3 months, these 3 was Wilson. Okay, Wilson is fine. We have Joelinton, which is like a loss. So that's 2. So the third one, we see it's like every time someone different. Mostly was Almiron and Saint Maximin. So these 3 with attacking roles, no place for Ritchie. And when he played Ritchie last time, I think against Liverpool, he played him as a left back because there was some issues with Jamal Lewis. I think he did mistake in some game or something. So this is the problem. He's a good player, a great player. For me, I can play him left midfield. He can play real number 10 position. But this is coach opinion. So if he will stay, this depends on is the process stay or not, because I think if with a better coach, he will not let player like Ritchie go.
Okay, Chris, what's your take on the Matt Ritchie situation? He's not on the bench today, and I wasn't sure whether you were back when we were talking about it, but ultimately it looks as if the rumour mill is certainly produced the truth in the sense that he's going to go to Bournemouth if he can get the deal that he wants.
Yeah, he's always been my favorite player on Newcastle in this era. So it was like the lad said, it was a great signing by Raffle. To come to us when his club was up and we were down in the championship. And he's somebody that I would put in the starting 11 every week. No brainer. He can play attacking midfield, defensive midfield. He can play on the wing. He can play in a back 5. It's just, like you said, he did lose his foot when he came back from the injury. So maybe he's been less effective, and I'm sort of nostalgic for the old Ritchie that we had before the injury, and maybe expecting him to be like that since the injury is unrealistic. But it's kind of a sad commentary that before we're talking about let's do a swap Ritchie for Josh King, and now it's just Ritchie going and not Josh King coming in, which again might have been unrealistic again to get Josh King from Matt Ritchie on different wages and picking up the difference. But it's always sad to get something for nothing, and you've got a sentimental favorite like Ritchie for me. So.
Okay, opening 16 minutes played, Everton 0, Newcastle 0. Chris, how have you seen it so far? A lot of criticism in the chat so far for Carl Darlow, saying he looks a bit shaky.
Yeah, I think that was me. I feel like he's a bit nervous. And, I think he'll be fully aware that obviously in the last couple of games, he's been criticised for, a goal. I think it was the goal against Aubameyang's first goal, which Pete highlighted during the show. And I think he also made, I'm trying to think what the other mistake was, but yeah, he's made 2 mistakes in a row. So he looks a bit shaky to me, but Villa, that was it. Yeah, Villa. I think hopefully he settles into the game. And, in terms of our performance, though, for the first 16 minutes, it's actually been promising. And it kind of shows to me the dross that we've been served up this last, 6 weeks. And it almost feels, a bit like we've been in a coma for that period because the players have just not been at it. But today I'm seeing FOER is Graeme Jones making
He's
himself.
the manager right now. He's
Yeah,
the
he is.
manager.
He is. Steve's just looked at him.
Tell him what to
Unbelievable.
do. He's
All
just
right,
telling you rubbish.
that's nice.
No,
Mad.
I
He's
told you
taking a
guys last
photo of
week
that.
that we always show up against big
Photo of
teams,
that.
and we're just doing the same. We always show up against big teams,
Look,
and
look,
when it comes to guys at the bottom of the table, we're like, oh yeah, we're just gonna relax now.
Andrew
I
has been
I
in for
I didn't
mine.
expect that first game for him to do this.
Mad.
That's brilliant. That is brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, I am going to get a photograph of this, lads, because there will be people sitting watching at home, listening to us who won't. But I've managed to caption a perfect moment on that. But yeah, carry on, Chris.
Yeah, no. Just in terms of the performance, it's looking promising. We're having a go, and I think I also said in the chat, we're playing a higher back line now. That little cameo that we've just seen from Graeme Jones, that's what you want to see from a manager. That's what a manager should be doing. He's screaming instructions. He's telling players to push up. He's in control of the team.
He's stepping on Steve Bruce's toes.
Yeah. Steve Bruce stepped to one side and watched him.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
Saying he did the game. He's walking around the pitch like Klopp does with Liverpool. Looking at the
Give me,
team, top of the place.
I genuinely, you're going to love this photo, everybody. It's going to be worth the wait. Give us 2 seconds. I'm just going to get this loaded up. Managed to take this as a screenshot off TV. Hold on, bear with us for 2 seconds. I'm just loading
I
it up
wish
now.
Hendrik would learn to approach the man with the ball.
Right, here we go, guys. Now, if a picture could tell 1,000 words. Wow.
Love it.
That tells you all you need to know about this new coach coming in. Steve Bruce is not happy.
This is
No,
he
he
doing
agreed
some
it.
clapping, but there is one he's like asking for something.
It's a bit of on-the-job training for the Steves, I think.
Wow.
It's crazy.
And it's like when that guy that your wife always talks about walks in and you're just like, God damn it, it's here again. Why? But you invited him. I know. I invited him because my wife wanted me to invite him. I didn't invite him because I wanted to. That's basically what he's doing now.
Yeah, crazy. What's your take on it, Daz? 20 minutes gone. Newcastle still 0-0. Everton pushing forward again. And obviously we've seen now Graeme Jones completely upstaging Steve Bruce.
No, it's great that they're getting a bit of an instruction, and hopefully Graeme Jones can do that job for us. I'm on the Sky Go, so I'm about a minute behind. So I find it difficult to watch them because I know that nothing's happened before it happens for me. So, we're still in it.
Oh, don't do that.
We're still in it, and as long as it stays 0-0 or 1-0 down, the game plan is still there because it's all about bringing ASM on and then turning up the heat for us.
Yeah, okay, that's a fair point. We'll wait with interest on that. Babbo, what's your take on that opening 20 minutes? 0-0.
Been very good. We've defended a lot better. We're approaching the man with the ball rather than give him 2 meters so he can do whatever he wants to do. My concern is Lascelles is on a yellow and he tends to lose concentration after like 45 minutes, 60 minutes. So that's going to be a problem. If we don't concede a lot of set pieces, we have a chance at getting a draw. Because if we don't concede set pieces, that means Yerimina and Keane are not a problem. If we approach the men with the ball, we don't give Rodriguez or Sigurdsson enough time to get shots out. What I've noticed from Newcastle is they're actually attacking a bit more and they seem to have confidence to shoot. Now, second yellow again. Now I wish that we have the confidence to shoot from outside the box because all this hitting the ball to only Wilson in the middle of 4 defenders is not going to help. So definitely we're going to need to replace either Shelby or Lascelles very soon. They can't keep up. They can't. It's terrible.
Yep, exactly. Still 0-0. Everton are pressing more, it has to be said, than Newcastle. Newcastle doing a hell of a lot of defending. Spenny, what's your take on this opening 21 minutes?
I think the difference this half's been Hayden because he's sitting deep behind the 2 midfielders in front of the other 2. And it's keeping us defending well. They're having shots on goal, like the lad just said there. from free kicks, going across the box and trying to get it headed in. So hopefully just mark him in. Don't let any. They've got 2 free headers of goals there because they weren't marking the lad who came up for the header.
Good save by Darlow there, mind. A lot of people criticising him. Hayden slipped. Richarlison managed to get a good shot in. It was curving, bending away. Darlow just stretched full length, palmed it away. And look, Darlow's done a lot of good. Seems to be a few critics of Darlow of recent weeks. And he makes mistakes. It's the worst position to play in for making mistakes, it has to be said. Pete, your thoughts on the opening game? I mean, formation-wise, you know, it's always very confusing watching Bruce's teams. But yeah, Hayden does seem to be playing more of that defensive midfield role. Yeah,
look, it's very, very obvious in the 22 minutes that I've watched that there's a structure to how we're playing. You can see players in the turnover of transition that when we're attacking, that they're in certain positions to receive the ball. But more interestingly, when we've not got the ball, that you can see that Callum Wilson's coming onto the right-hand side to track that runner, and you've got Almiron playing through the middle or running through the middle. And the actual structure of the team is set up very, very different already in this early part. So that's for me is really promising because it looks like there's a
great save, great. Shelby sorry to interrupt you there, Pete, but Newcastle actually making a chance out of nothing there, really. Almiron, a little jinx. Shelby took the ball off him, hit it, took a deflection of Mina and almost crept past the keeper. Newcastle have a corner. Go on, Pete.
So the system and the structure of the team already looks more promising in the way that we're playing right now. So, that's a good thing. Look, Everton are always going to have more of the ball because they're the home team and they've got players that like to have the ball. But when we've got the ball, we're actually looking to push forward and we're pushing men forward. So we're looking more of an attacking unit. So hopefully, as the game goes on, we create a few more chances. It's been like I think Chris said, it's been promising. It's been promising, not perfect, but it's been promising. It's certainly better than I thought it would be after 24 minutes, I have to be honest. And so, that in itself is a good thing. I do worry about Cole Darlow, and I know you guys have touched on it already. I do worry about him. I don't think Cole Darlow's been the same since Dubravka's come back into the fold. And you get some goalkeepers that thrive under the pressure of having a quality goalkeeper just behind them, and you get some that panic. And I think Darlow is starting to panic, knowing that any mistake that he makes could result in being out of the team. And it's getting to the point now that I don't think it's going to be too long before Dubravka comes back into the team. Look, Dubravka's the better goalkeeper. There's no questions about that, but there's no also questions that Darlow's had a fantastic season for us in really shit circumstances. So, we spoke about 2 goalkeepers, but I think the number 1 needs to come back in for the Palace game. That's just my opinion. We need to get more service into Callum Wilson. Callum Wilson needs to be more selfish. He's had a couple of chances where he's been in the middle of the goal,
hit him in the face,
and he's either played the pass rather than looking to spin on the turn and get a shot in. He's a goal scorer. He needs to be able to create chances for himself and not just expect players to create chances for him. But, look, it's been positive right now. It's better than I thought it would be. I do worry about, just to finish, Shelby and Lascelles on yellow cards because they're both very erratic players. So, we need to think about that if we're making subs later on in the game with Clark and potentially ASM or someone else to come into the middle of the park. But that tackle from Lascelles early on, and I didn't touch on it before, that tells me of someone that isn't confident in his abilities right now. It's lost. And that, his positioning for Richarlison, he just ghosted past him with minimal effort. And he had to bring him down, otherwise he'd have been clear through. It's just, look, I'm going to put something out there just to finish on. In the summer, takeover or no takeover, Lascelles would be my first player that I'd be looking to sell.
1,000,000%.
And I've been looking to sell, not just because I don't think he's going to get any better now in his career at 25 years old. I actually think this is the perfect time where we'd actually get a decent amount of money for him. any longer, I think the amount you would get from would be considerably less. I think it's now time to invest in a number one centre back, takeover or no takeover, to really command this defence. Because there's good defenders around him in Fernandes and Clark, but we need a number one leading centre back, and he is not the man.
Yeah, I agree with you, Pete. I think, given how Steve Bruce says he conducts his business, because we know he's not the one picking the players, he can only suggest and then they'll decide who they are going to go for. But we definitely need a centre back like Fernandes, who is not as old as Fernandes. We need someone that can actually do something. Now, I did post this up and you replied to it. I was like, what do we use as determining factors to pick a Newcastle player? Because right now, we don't know what it is. We're just bringing people in left and right, and we just have to wait and see what happens when they get on the pitch. Is it their mentality? Is it their technicality? What is it?
Sell-on factor. What used to be it.
Yeah, but we can't even coach them well enough for them to actually have value on the sell-on. So we're basically just buying terrible players. Well, not terrible. We're buying players with good potential, and then we run down the potential, and then we lose money on it. So that's what's been happening, and that's why Ashley is so frustrated about owning the club, because he's invested in a lot of players, and we did make a couple, like Sissoko and Wijnaldum, but then we got Florian Thauvin, who right now, if you want to buy him, is going to cost you like, what, 50, 60 million, and we just let that go in for a loss, and it just keeps happening. Ivan Toney, same thing, over and over again.
It goes back to the point though, Babu. If you're not willing to be ambitious and invest in the club, and you're not willing to be ambitious and invest in a quality manager, then your policy of signing young players to then sell them off for more money then just becomes void. Because if you're not going to bring in the quality to realise that potential and to get those players at that value, at that height, and at the level that you want to make those profits, then it's all just going to fall flat. You're going to fall lucky once or twice with the likes of Kabay and one or two others that will make me some money. Andy Carroll, for example, but they're 1 in a million. They're not going to happen all the time. So, like you said, all these young players with potential
Hey guys, this is what happens when we have positive vibes, okay? We need more of that.
All right.
Corner for Newcastle. Wilson unmarked at the front post, and it was Richarlison. I think he was supposed to be picking up. Was it? I'm not sure.
What a header!
It was a great header.
I'm slightly behind you guys. Sorry about that. But we sold Ayo's parents for like 30 million, and Sissoko and Wijnaldum. So we've made some good returns on players, just not lately.
Yeah, I would agree, Chris. I mean, that's the thing. But I mean, when the one thing that Rafa was doing was essentially bringing in players he could get the best out of players who hadn't achieved. We saw that on more than one occasion with Rafa, but Steve Bruce hasn't done that. I don't think there's any player since Steve Bruce came to the club that's actually improved under him.
Yes. Everyone's been Bruced.
Yeah, everyone. Well, that's what they call it, being Bruce. You would have thought that Matty Longstaff, he was given his opportunity, scored against Man United. Everyone thought the future was bright, and then ultimately he just hasn't really progressed. In fact, he's regressed to the point where we battled to keep him, and then we didn't. Steve Bruce didn't play him. Really strange. It does surprise us. The stats are quite interesting though, guys, for this so far. 48% possession for Newcastle today. That's a massive step up on our season average. So something may have changed. And Chris Hall's captured another wonderful photo there. Steve Bruce is a puppet on a string there with their Graeme
So this is what happens when Newcastle has a week of coaching. Just a week of coaching.
For me, Steve, watching this game now, I think the players are being drilled finally for what positions they're playing. They know exactly what. Because when I've watched Newcastle and Bruce has come over, no one knows where we're playing. They're playing left, right, middle, or out. Now they know where they're playing. So it might be something to do with this Jones. I do not know.
Yeah, and they're playing like a 4-3-3. From what it looks like, as you said, Hayden is just sitting in front of the back four, which would have solved our problems long ago. But Bruce was like, no, Rafa was doing it this way. I came in, they were playing this. Let's leave it like that and let me get my paycheck.
And do you know what, mate? The defensive line's high. The defensive line's high when we've not got the ball. I'm even watching it now. They're pushing forward. So that, all right, there's the chance of a running behind. But Everton play with Calvert-Lewin on his own up top. So as long as you keep an eye on Calvert-Lewin, what's the point in having 5 at the back, sitting with him? Push them forwards, and then that naturally pushes the midfield forwards. But Graeme Jones screaming and shouting then, that tells you he's shouting and telling them to get forward and move. And Bruce then backs off, looks sheepish, and he's probably thinking, oh, maybe I should be doing that.
It's like maybe that's what managers should do. Probably tell their players where to go and what to do.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a bit of a buzz around Newcastle's team today. Fraser certainly playing his part. Newcastle pushing forward again.
Oh, that's a free kick, surely.
Oh, yeah.
Free kick on the edge. Free kick on the edge of the box.
Card, haven't you? We've had two.
Give him a card.
Lads, seriously, 32 minutes in, Callum Wilson's come to life today.
Yeah.
He really has. He's come to life. He's really involved in the game. No players around him. He just looks like he's able to be himself.
Yeah.
He really does.
They're giving him ball to feet. He has people around him. There's actually link-up play happening. We've not seen this in like 5 months. So for us, it's shocking. We're like the same players that the pundits will come on and be like, oh, they're not good enough. They're not good enough. They are playing against Ancelotti's team and actually giving them a fight. So what was wrong all this time?
Babo, you've just hit the nail on the head, mate. He's got players around him. He can play because he's got players around him.
Yeah.
People linking up with him. So he's not stuck on his own 20 yards with no one within 20 yards.
Long balls, just be like, take it.
Oh, yeah, little arms.
Come on, boys.
Well, we'll stay with this. Free kick. Shelby is over it, as is Shaw and Almiron. I think Shelby's the favourite for this as Everton get the wall ready. Shelby takes it, one shot, hits it into the stands. Still 0-0. Newcastle 0, Everton 0 at Goodison Park. 35 minutes on the clock. Al-Walid, it's a bit more positive. There's definitely energy levels are up. Newcastle's possession is better. And we're having a couple of chances on goal.
I think there is many reasons for this. Playing Hayden in the middle help Newcastle stop Everton from starting minimize the counter attack for Everton. You mentioned earlier regarding Darlow. He was shaking. I think maybe he get used to have 3 centre back.
Good
save.
3 centre back. Maybe now we have 2. But actually, no. I think because it's Everton, they try to attack different ways, different styles of play, from the crosses, from the counter attack, and there is many players. Richardson, number 16, Calvert, Rodriguez. So I think it's like. You don't know from where you will. There is no static play for Everton. They play very wonderful in the front, but in the middle we have more player to stop them. I think this is the better change, and of course maybe Graeme Jones did something there.
Yeah, possibly. Chris, is it too soon for Graeme Jones to be having an effect? I mean, it's a visual thing. He's certainly telling them what to do. There's not a massive change in the team from the last game, but yeah, the energy levels are there. There's definitely a zip about Newcastle, and I guess it comes down to whether Newcastle have a plan B. A lot of people in the chat saying that substitutions will play that part, and people jokingly saying 65 minutes will see ASM. Well, that's when Steve Bruce makes his substitutions. We all know that, 65 minutes onwards. But yeah, I mean, is it too early for Graeme Jones to have an effect?
There does seem to be something different about the way that the squad is putting in a shift. Can't quite put my finger on it. I think it would probably be too early for Graeme Jones to have a strategic impact on the game, but maybe just sort of, obviously we haven't had any signings, and he's like our new signing for the transfer period. So maybe there's just some confidence that the players have gotten from his addition to the coaching staff. But I didn't know anything about Graeme Jones before. It struck me as like if you asked me who's Graeme Jones, I would have probably said, isn't he some like 1970s British rock? He sounds like a 1970s British rock band player or something like that, and or someone from like Spinal Tap or something. But yeah, I think obviously with Bruce still being around, but you need to just try something, and maybe this works out for the best. Or maybe I always thought he was coming in as kind of like to be the interim if they sack Bruce, and they at least have some manager with management experience rather than just a whole bunch of assistants who will do what Bruce wants him to do. So yeah, I mean, it's probably too early to tell, but so far it does seem a bit of a different squad. And I like how Pete mentioned that Callum Wilson does tend to kind of come alive, because so often in Bruce's formations he's just kind of left for dead and showing signs of life.
Yeah, I would agree. Newcastle still holding out 0-0 down at Goodison Park, 38 minutes on the clock, but I think most of us will agree Newcastle have a little bit more about them today, which is good to see, and the energy levels and possession are certainly up, so it's pleasing. Let's talk transfer window, Chris, and players being linked. Obviously we've talked a little bit about Ritchie going away, but the Chowdhury link from Leicester is still quite strong. Talk of Jetro Willems. What would you think of those two coming in? Do you think they would benefit the team? Chowdhury coming in, for instance.
To start with Chowdhury, yeah, absolutely. I know people aren't a fan of him after that tackle on Ritchie, but people make mistakes, and we've seen our players making many bad tackles. It's just one of those things of the game. But what sticks out for me about Chowdhury, and from what I've seen of him, and I think I said this a few weeks ago, I want a horrible, nasty centre midfielder. I want someone who I want someone who puts the foot in, who gets stuck in. He's got a voice.
Vinny Jones.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want someone who's going to drag these players, and Ritchie is that for me, and that's why I'd be sad, for him to leave. I think somebody like Chowdhury is probably what we need. He's a young lad. He's obviously not made it at Leicester. Probably coming here with a point to prove. He wants to, prove the doubters wrong. If we bring him in on a loan deal and see what happens, maybe not an obligation to buy, but maybe an option to buy. And touching on Willems, Steve, I love Willems. Obviously everyone's a bit sceptical over his injury. The fact he's not played any football since he's been fit for Frankfurt is a bit of a worry. But, he gets Newcastle, he gets the fans, he loves the club, he's got a cracking relationship with St. Maximin. And I do believe when you've got a really good relationship with, someone, in the team who's, plays on your side or is ahead of you, I think it does play a factor. I mean, if you look at, Gary Neville and David Beckham, got on very well. At Everton, they often talk about still the relationship between Leighton Baines and Stephen Pienaar. It can make a massive difference. I think Jose Enrique and Jonas, going back to our times, they had a cracking relationship, and I think Willems, if he's not been affected too much by this injury, I think he's got a lot to give, and certainly if you've got two left backs in Jamal Lewis and Willems, that's not a bad options for your left back side, and we're gonna get him for a nominal fee probably. He's only got 6 months left on his contract. I would certainly be taking a chance on him. 2-year deal. Again, you can probably bring his wages down a little bit. Apparently that's been a bit of a stumbling block. Don't get me wrong, I don't want us to offer him 60, 70, 80 pounds a week. I don't think that's a good business. But bring him in, say to him, listen, give him a performance enhanced contract. Every game he starts or plays, give him an extra 10, 20 grand on top of his basic contract. Yeah, just explain to him. Obviously, it's down to injuries and down to the fact he's not been playing football. But he gets the club. I'm a big fan of him. He's strong, powerful, good on the ball. Probably what we need at the moment, and I think he'd probably bring Jamal Lewis on leaps and bounds. So yeah, I'm all for it.
See, he just described everything we want in a Newcastle player, and he's not even a Newcastle player. You see the irony of our club.
He wants to be here. He wants to be here, and I like that.
Yeah. Nowadays, we're just getting people that will use it as a stepping stone. We want people that actually care about the club. It's not too much to ask. We can't get to Sergio Ramos now, but we just like somebody who actually love being like, okay, yeah, he's about to go in. I'd rather injure myself than to let him get this shot off. Simple.
Yep. Okay, 42 minutes played. Newcastle still 0-0 at Everton, and Newcastle pressing again. Almiron on the ball. Still a zip about this Newcastle team, and certainly looking and playing for each other. The efforts there as the ball, though, unfortunately, goes out for a goal kick. Daz, it hasn't been too bad a half, this, has it?
No, we're playing pretty well. That round thing that we seem to be carrying with us now is the ball. We haven't seen that for a lot of games. So yeah, look, definitely happy that we're 0-0 heading towards halftime. You're a minute ahead of me, so you're even closer.
What's your take on the potential transfers? We're talking a bit about Chowdhury, talking a bit about Jetro Willems. I mean, I think as long as Jetro's okay, fitness wise, I would take him back certainly, because he made a big impression at Newcastle.
Yeah, he did. I remember back to one of the first shows that we did with you, Steve, and we're talking about transfers then, back with the Worldwide show, and the two people I wanted then were Wilson and Williams. And I do take the point that Williams hasn't played any games, and he's going to be slow starting. And is it what we need with the couple of games that we have left, a couple of the half the season we have left? I take him. I definitely bring him in. I remember his first game for us, he cost us a goal, or he did something stupid, but after that he was absolutely immense for us, and I loved him.
It was that substitution, wasn't it? Whereas when he came on and he didn't know what position he was playing in, and Steve Bruce hadn't told him where to go, and then there was this gaping hole at the full-back position, and the goal obviously came down that end. It wasn't actually his fault. He wasn't told where to go.
Yeah, we'll blame Steve Bruce. Why not? I definitely take him back. Chowdhury, is that one of the reasons why we're also trying to get rid of Ritchie? They don't fancy how they'll interact if he turns up. But yeah, and to the lad from Arsenal, Ainsley Miles, he looked good the few games I've seen of him as well. I know he got an England cap as well, pretty much at the start of the season. But let's see what happens. But nothing's really happened in the transfer window. It's been very quiet, but it's all going to happen over the next couple hours, really, in the days. And then, as well as that, maybe the result of this game will determine as well how much we go in this transfer window. Because at this stage, I think we're stuck with Bruce for the rest of the season. And our change is Graeme Jones in to help him and help the Steves learn how to do the job. It's these next couple hours are going to be vital for how we're going to survive, and the ins and outs, and shake it all about, I suppose.
2 minutes stoppage time on this first half. Babbo, what's your take on the incomings? We probably will see a lot of movement at all Premier League clubs on transfer deadline day. Everything seems to be left till the last minute. But what about the likes of Chowdhury and Willems coming in?
Look, I would happily take any one of those three or all those three. But the problem is with the way Newcastle handle things, they are not. It's very difficult to be able to say my club cannot handle a transfer the right way, which is what I'm scared of. Because right now they might just be like they forgot to submit one document. But if we can get Maitland-Niles, that's good. Very versatile player. If we can get Willems, that's good. Fine. I'm not really fussed about Hamza Chowdhury. I know he's a very good box-to-box midfielder. He has a very good shot on him. He's 6'2", so he's going to help with set pieces. But I don't know. I just don't see any business happening. And I know that reigns on the entire parade, but they have not shown the level of interest that will be like, okay, yeah, this is definitely going to happen. Right now, I think Bruce is just waiting for people to be like, okay, this is what you can get. And then he will go, yeah, this is what we worked on. So we'll have to wait and see. But hopefully, Maitland-Niles, if I was going to get any of those three, just because of his versatility. And we get an England international.
Yeah, okay. It changed to 3 minutes. It was originally 2 minutes, but we've now got 3 minutes added time. We're about 30 seconds away from half time now. Spenny, give us your views on potential incomings in the transfer window.
Apparently, Jetlo's been ruled out by Bruce, but has he got the transfers? You know what I mean? Like I said, the lad from Leicester, is it Chiromi or something? He looks kind of decent. He might help in his formation we're playing now. And I wouldn't mind that Gray as well from Leicester. He's a little player. We've got plenty of good wingers, haven't we? For me, we need another cover for striker again, like I've been crying out for ages. And maybe he's another right back as well. That's what I think.
All right, then. Okay, Pete.
I think Spenny.
Go on.
Sorry, Spenny. Yeah, I think Damari Gray is what you're mentioning there. I think he could have gone to Bayer Leverkusen.
Has he gone? Has he?
He was. Yeah, I think I saw something that he was gone. Yeah. I'll check.
Yeah, we had interest, and we didn't do anything until he left. So.
Yeah, Pete, I mean, Steve Bruce came out yesterday and said, there was one that got away. Half-time, by the way, 0-0, which is great. Newcastle certainly playing a lot better. Barry Hogan asking, are Newcastle playing better? Yes, they are. I know a few people in the chat have answered. But yeah, Pete, I mean, Steve Bruce said there was one that got away. I'm not sure who that is.
I was going to talk about that because I think it's Lingard, but yeah.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah. But what's your take, Pete, on the potential incomings? And do you think there will be any? Do you think we're going to miss out, and we're going to have this squad to get through? What's your take?
I think there'll be incomings. I think it'll be a bit of a whirlwind next few days. Just on the Ritchie thing, it wouldn't surprise me if we hear after the game that he's either on his way or he's arrived in Bournemouth. To be honest with you, I just see that deal being done, and I think the only reason that they're allowing that deal to be done is if there are players coming in. Mike Ashley can be stupid sometimes, but I don't think he can be that stupid in getting such an important player out of the squad and not replace him in such a delicate season, which we've already talked about, has massive ramifications, not just for the club, the fans, but for him as well. So I do see players coming in. With Ritchie that plays down the left-hand side, wing-back, left-back, left wing, I imagine someone that plays on the wings will come in. I'm surprised that Zetro has been completely ruled out, considering that the supposed player that we missed out on was Lingard, that's only started one game this season for Man United and really hasn't kicked the ball. I'm surprised by that. But that could also tell you that someone else is already lined up, and it could be the lad from Arsenal or somebody else. Newcastle have a knack of having loads of players linked, and then the actual player that signs is someone that's not been in the papers or been talked about at all, and it's a completely left field type of signing, a little bit like Lazaro last season. So look, who knows? But I do think there'll be players coming in. I think Chowdhury, like I said, I've talked about before, I know Chowdhury being from the Leicester area, and actually the school that he went to is around the corner from the school that I work at. So I know him quite well from that point of view, and I've watched him play as a young kid. He's a tenacious midfielder, but actually, let's not get it twisted. He can get box to box. He can get up and down. He's got an engine on him as well, and he can shoot. He can score a goal. And we saw that last season at St. James Park. He knows how to score a goal when given the opportunity. So, look, he's never going to get in front of Maddison and Ndidi and some of the other players that play in that Leicester team that have fantastic talents. So he needs to play football, and this is the perfect platform, the perfect for him to showcase his abilities. And let's face it, he improves that midfield. He is instantly better than Hendricks. He is instantly better than Shelby. May not be passing ability, but in terms of what he could give to this team under a structural guidance, under a way of playing that could release his talents, he can be a player. So I think those players will come in. I think the striker will come in. No, I don't think they will. I think Bruce has already talked about the fact that he's done his business up top, and he's hoping on and banking on Wilson being fit. And I think Gale will have to leave in order for a striker to come in. I think it's that simple. So I do think there'll be signings coming through. I think we'll probably get 2, which I think we'll see 2 or 3 go out. There's talk about Lazar's contract being terminated. There's talk, obviously, about Yedlin going before the window's out, and then obviously Ritchie. And I think all the rest will leave in the summer.
Okay, big shout out to our sponsors this month, which are Old Coach House Distillery.co.uk, the world's first alcohol-free distillery. Visit their website and enter the code OCHD to claim your introductory 10% discount and get the most out of your mindful dry January. Also a big shout out to qtechshop.co.uk, the makers of pool tables and snooker tables in Wallsend and Newcastle. They also make our t-shirts, which you can buy at newcastlelegends.com. Also, if you want to subscribe to the channel with new subscriber levels this week, got another 100 added over the last few days. So thank you very much for joining. Please just click the little emblem at the bottom and that's it. Subscribe to the channel. Give it a like by hitting the thumbs up. Drop a comment into the chat and become part of the community, and give it a share on your social media. That link there takes you to Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, whichever you have connected to your YouTube channel. So please give us a like. Big thanks to John from Jab as well, who had a car accident the other day. He's okay, but John has done a lot of work for us with flyers and the like and promotional material. So John, I know you're not seriously injured. I know you're a bit ache and pains, but please get well soon, pal. I hope everything's okay. T-shirts, as you know, we do a lot of raffles for T-shirts, and we also put them up and auction them off for the food bank. Another T-shirt went last night for £120. That was the Sav T-shirt, actually, that one there. So that went for 120. That money's gone directly to the food bank. Thanks very much to Dave for buying that. This is the latest one. Mark Byers has done this and posted it to me from America. Mark's a regular viewer of the show. Again, it's a one-off T-shirt. He's made that himself, designed it himself. It's NUFC Matters. It's got the 3 campaigns that we've had on the front there. And on the back, it's got the shows that we do each night of the week. So that is up for grabs. Just follow me on Twitter at Steve Wraith, and it will be a pinned post tonight. You'll be able to tune in and get onto there and make a bid. So please have a look at it and make a bid. And as I say, that's a one-off, and I will post that to you. I did wear the T-shirt once on TV in an interview I did this week as well. So it's had a little bit of publicity for Mark Byers. Thanks very much for doing that, mate. Big thank you to you. Al-Walid, just talk about incomings. Would you like to see Chowdhury at Newcastle? Would you like to see Willems come back?
At the moment, I want to see anyone in Newcastle. Actually, we need a player now who, to play, and for me to play just behind Wilson, in the deep in the middle, in the center of the midfield. With ability to do shot from distance, high stamina. But for me, Chowdhury is, when he will play instead of home. Is he gonna be on the 3 and the front, or he will change the formation, or he'll just be benched and we're just waiting for him to play? But for me, I would like to see a player in that field, in that area, because if we can see, most of recently they said number 10 player, it's like Snow makes sense in or it's old school. But we notice like Liverpool, when they stuck not to score, they put Shaqiri in that place. So it's useful plan B. I hope this will take a chance.
Yep, okay. Rich, good afternoon.
Afternoon, lads, all right?
Hi, mate, good. Have you managed to catch the game?
The majority of it, it's been a pleasant surprise for a change, actually. When I first saw the lineup, I was a bit miffed after a few of the rumours that were going around, but I've been really, really pleasantly surprised. I've been happy with the way that they've been pressing. They've been looking to create stuff. Wilson just seems to be absolutely on the ball today. Unlucky with that first half chance where Pickford made the good save, tipped onto the bar. But the signs are promising for the second half that we could actually get something from the game. So I'm really, really pleased with it.
Yeah, okay, and we're just talking about transfers, incomings potentially. Chowdhury and Willems seem to be the two favourites. Maybe there might be a surprise. Steve Bruce, of course, has said he's missed out on one, didn't name him. What's your take on the incomings with the transfer window coming to an end shortly?
I think obviously Willems is a fan favourite as well, because I think we could do with an extra natural left back, wing back sort of thing to cover for Lewis. Lewis has been having a good game of day anyway. I think the only bad thing about Willems is obviously how fit he's going to be. It's a very similar situation to what Fraser had when we bought him. He hasn't played matches for a while. So is he going to come in as a more of a squad player and play when needed? Chowdhury, obviously we know he's a bit of a battler, box-to-box sort of player. Is it what we need as a midfield compared to what we've got already? Perhaps not, but I think the only thing you could probably say is it's more younger, fresher legs than obviously Shelby, Hendrick and stuff like that. So I still think we need an extra creative player in that middle of the park. Obviously, if you want to be completely greedy with what we're looking at, I know there was a rumours possibly 3. If Yedlin's going, do we need another right back and possibly another, obviously, 4? Because if Callum Wilson is injured, I think we're going to be struggling to replace him, unfortunately.
Yeah, okay. Chris, we'll come back to you, mate. You were down at the bottom, but you've been promoted back to your original spot. Just on the transfers, mate, last one to talk about the transfer potentially of Willems and Chowdhury. I know Willems seems to be getting knocked on the head, maybe he's essentially by Bruce, but yeah, I mean, who do you think we'll end up with, or do you think there'll be no movement whatsoever?
I'd probably expect no one to come in, unfortunately. I've just only seen the Willems thing be knocked down, saying the club doesn't want to bring him in because of the injuries and the fitness, lack of fitness, match fitness. I do rate Maitland-Niles. I'd like to see him come in. I don't know if that'll happen. Normally our guys that we talked about coming in don't come in, and we have randos come in the last day. I don't know Chowdhury, so I can't really rate his addition as anything positive. But yeah, I mean, Maitland-Niles for me would be the one that I'd like to come in, and I've already been on record saying I don't want to see Ritchie go, but if that's a done deal, then let's bring Maitland-Niles in on the trip.
Yeah, I've been asked to give a shout out to Dave Hopper today. Apparently he's a big fan of the show and likes to tune in each and every night. So big shout out to you, Dave. Thanks for your support. So first half, quickly let's go around the panel just to give your assessment on that first half, Babbo. Oh, you're on mute, mate. You're on mute.
Spenny.
Yeah. No, I think the lads have done very well, to be fair. Given what happened the last game, I feel like this has been a good step up. It's almost like they went, let's not start playing the game when it's 70 minutes in. Let's start from 0 and then see what happens from there. So it's been very good. I am very, very concerned about the way Mr. Rodriguez is always rolling on the floor every 5 minutes. I feel like he's just looking for cards now for anyone that's going to touch him. He has to protect himself, but that's just how the game works. As long as we don't concede any set pieces, we should be fine to get a draw. But my worry is, and I know he's played well for the whole game, he tends to lose concentration after the 75th minute, and he would do something lazy like push someone in the box. So as long as we don't have set pieces coming in, we should be fine.
Barry Hogan says, I could tell it wasn't that bad in the first half because Pete hasn't had his head in his hands. Bless him. Chris Hall, the Everton contingent in your house, it must be very quiet upstairs, is it?
Yeah, definitely, mate. It's definitely. And do you know what? That's exactly what I want to hear, because, as you know, I predicted 3-0 at the start of this game, but I've been pleasantly surprised. And do you know what? It's actually, I was reflecting then, and it's actually been a really enjoyable first half. We actually feel like we're competing within it. And, you know, how long's that been since we've said that? You're talking 6-7 weeks, aren't you? At least. And, you know, the lads are giving it a go. And, you know, I'm actually looking forward to the second half. I'm thinking, you know, I'm really positive. I'm feeling good about things. And I just hope that, you know, we come out in the second half with the same fight and, you know, effort. And, you know, as I said in the chat, Steve, you know, I'm really interested to see, you know, these substitutions. I mean, if these substitutions come early or, God forbid, at half time, you know, I think we'll all have a party. You'll have to get that rattle out, mate.
That's definitely not. That's definitely not happening at half time.
Yeah. So no, I'm really looking forward to the second half. As I say, it's been a pleasure to be on. I've really enjoyed watching it, and yeah, really looking forward to what's going to come.
Hey, I never know. That really will be a surprise if we see it. Somebody was asking what the team is. That's the starting lineup. Obviously, if there's any changes at half time, that will change. Darlow, Manquillo, Hayden, Shaw, Lascelles, Lewis, Shelby, Hendrick, Almiron, Fraser and Wilson. Lascelles and Shelby are both on yellow cards at this moment in time. Daz, first half assessment.
Yeah, mission complete at half time. My head said defeat, my heart said a draw, and now I'm going to kind of want to double it up now. I want to go for the win. I can see a bit more handbags maybe between Wilson and Jerry Mina later in the game. They're not great friends after that. I remember that penalty where Wilson made sure he got a nice rub of the ball before he took the pin off. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing ASM coming in and how that'll change the game as well. But yeah, I'd be delighted with a draw still, but now I want to go for the win. I want to be greedy. So I'd change it up with ASM, maybe a bit of Matty Longstaff and Clark as well, and switch it up a small bit, but maybe not get too greedy either. So yeah, it's a delicate balance here. They have to watch it for that second half.
Okay, Chris, second half's just kicked off, 0-0 at the moment at Goodison. And yeah, I mean, just a quick first half assessment and what you'd hope to see from the second half.
Yeah, first I've got Sky on the other screen, and I wanted to give an update from the Stadium of Light. Finland 1, Gillingham 1.
God, Gillingham, there's a blast from the past.
So
I don't think I've actually been there.
Yeah, I had to, it was one of those places I had to look up. I had no idea where that was on the English map. I'm not very good with English geography. Anyway,
don't worry, mate. I've been here 8 years. I'm still not good at it.
I just know they played their part in sending Sunderland to the third division the first time round. Because let's not forget they've been there twice now.
Great. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what Bruce does with this. We'll see if the addition of Jones changes Bruce's patented 65th minute substitution predilection. But yeah, you know, I feel more confident about holding them to a 0-0 draw. I don't know if any club, if they're threatening for a goal. So yeah, my optimism about a sure loss has transformed into a potential draw. I don't see us nicking. I don't see us doing a smash and grab, as they say. But maybe holding out for a draw.
Don't get we're back on that line, the smash and grab line. I
just want to see like the best. What's the best result for the Chris Hall household? This
is not a smash and grab if we win this, because Newcastle have played. Newcastle, I've got to admit, I've played okay today. A lot better.
I just want to know if there's a draw, will that mean that Chris still gets his tea tonight?
Yeah. We forgot about that, Chris. Do you get your tea tonight if it's a draw?
I hope so. Yeah. You know, keeping my fingers crossed as always. But
Chris, of course, has been very presumptuous that it's the woman who makes the food. Of course, it could be you who makes the food.
Yeah, I know. Well, you go off for your pizza like last time.
Yeah, no, it can be a bit of a free for all in our house. So I'm sure you know, Mrs. Tyson Hall won't mind me saying she's not the best chef. So you know. She doesn't watch this show, by the way, so I feel okay saying that.
Don't start any controversy on here.
Steve, I want to ask a question, right?
Yeah.
If Newcastle end up winning this match, are we then going to have a praise the players video
Well, I tell you what, I mean, look, we've been on here before when Newcastle have done well. We gave Steve Bruce praise when he's deserved it. I was a big critic of Joe Linton, and I've been very, I've been right with him as well. I've been fair with people. I do prize myself in being fair. I've got to be perfectly honest, and I'm pretty sure that most of the people on here as well. We praise if praise is deserved, and obviously we criticise if criticism is deserved. Now, just watching the game here. There was a potential. I hope we're not going to VAR here, are we?
Oh no! Please don't
He's
say
off.
that.
No, he was offside anyway, but
He was, yeah.
it was well defended.
Yeah, there was potentially looking at Lewis, I suppose, for the push on
Well defended.
on Calvert-Lewin, but yeah, well defended.
Yeah, that's the lack of concentration. I always says it creeps in.
Yeah,
Because
nothing. Nothing to be concerned about. Al Walid, what are you hoping for from this second half? And obviously ASM will be coming on at some point. If the game stays as it has the first half, he's going to make quite an impression on this game, you would imagine.
Of course, the players are today, especially I noticed they are careful, very careful and focus. I'm afraid from John Joe Shelby and less their yellow card. We don't want to repeat Fraser mistake last 2 weeks ago. So maybe if he can start to change now before we as long as it's a draw now. We don't want to like SAM or anyone get in the field too late.
Yep, okay. And Spenny, second half, what are you expecting from this?
I think it's Graeme Jones' black and white arm. Yeah. Simple as that. Playing like a team. Like Raffle used to play them. All in the right positions, all drilled. He's only been there a few days, don't get us wrong. But I even got Keith Patterson texting and saying he's got positive thoughts here. That's how good it's going.
Are we, Spenny, are we going to put... Are we going to put a statue for Graeme Jones as well as Keith now?
Like,
two statues.
Super silly tell you how to talk. Play like this, hasn't it?
We have got points in the bag, Spenny. It's been this last few months that's been pretty abysmal. But we did play okay at the start of the season. People tend to forget that. But yeah, I get you. Well, not just that game. We got other points in the bag. But yeah, you're right. Look, I mean, I'm not going to get carried away. It's positive. I mean, Newcastle have been absolutely awful the last couple of months, and there is effort. There's a bit of determination. My concern is in this half, I've got to be perfectly honest, we get caught with a sucker punch. I do feel Everton haven't quite woken up yet, and it's only a matter of time before Everton do wake up and have a bit of a spell in the game. And then if Newcastle go 1-0 down, because Newcastle haven't been playing well, I worry about the fragile minds of those on the pitch, and that's the problem. And Newcastle need to get a goal out of all this possession and out of all of these attacks. Otherwise, it could get hit with a sucker punch, and it won't be a smash and grab. It'll be a sucker punch.
It's like being in a dark place for months, and we've just come out of the dark place, and it's come out the right.
Yeah, but they're doing the stuff that they should be doing. They're doing the stuff that we should expect from.
They're playing football. They're being footballers, Dave.
Yeah, they're playing as a team. I mean, on the balance of play for me at the moment, a draw would be a fair result. I don't think either team could argue at a draw today, but we'll see. Pete, second half. We're 51 minutes into the second half, and I've got to say, the last 5 minutes, Everton has started to crank it up a little bit.
Yeah, they've got more possession on the ball. They're trying to go more direct. What worries me is that situations like that we've just seen in terms of set pieces, aerially, they're so much more dominant than us that I worry that as the game goes on, Wilson's there, he's in. Play him in. Go on. Oh, no. Oh, man.
Wilson has missed an absolute sitter. That was a great opportunity. He should have put that away.
He's not used to shooting anymore, so I feel like he's going to take some time to get used to shooting on goal.
Newcastle, Almiron with the ball. Wilson, Fraser with a wonderful ball across the box. Wilson took it first time. Only had the keeper to beat, and he put it comfortably wide. That's probably That's the worst miss of the game so far. That, and Wilson knows it. He's hugging the post like all good forwards. He's just got to crack on and get on with it. Lascelles is down on the ground. He's taking the captain's armband off. This doesn't look good at all. Clark's getting unstripped. Didn't see what happened there. Did anybody see what happened to Lascelles?
He's been carrying an injury since the beginning of the half. I think he's been hobbling around a fair bit. So I think it's something he might have maybe even had in the first half. But there was something on Twitter saying that Clark was really getting ready during half time, as if he's going to be coming on. So I think maybe it was Sells trying to risk it in the second half and then falling flat again. But not the end of the world. But that Wilson chance was the chance. That was the chance. We needed a chance to get that goal to put us in front. That was it. And I don't know if we're going to get that same opportunity again in this second half. I just feel we're going to rue that chance. But it just goes to show that there's an attacking intent there, and that on the counter-attack we've got players that can be dangerous. But I just worry that the quality of Everton's players could say by Darlow, but I just worry that the quality of the Everton players are going to come through in the end. I'd be looking to get St. Maximin on at 60 minutes, if I'm honest, to really liven up this team and really give them something to think about on the counter-attack. Just because, he needs more minutes. We need to be getting him ready for Palace and the Southampton games, which are two big games coming up. We need to get him fit and firing and ready. So I'd be looking to bring him on at 60 minutes. But, so far so good.
So far, so good. Everton again coming close. Darlow managing to tip the ball away and into safety. Rich, 55 minutes gone now. Everton 0, Newcastle 0.
Yeah, it was. I'm just going back to that Wilson chance. I think it's, that having Fraser on one of the flanks. If he's got that understanding where he knows Wilson's going to be, he does a quick look up and that ball straight in for him. I think the only thing he might probably want to, if he was to have that chance back, he's actually probably put his foot through it a bit more rather than try to go for placement. Actually make Pickford make a save. Hopefully it's not the last effort you'll get. But I think as what Pete's just said, if we bring ASM on, probably it's going to be at least another 10 minutes or so if we go by how Bruce likes to play things. Hopefully it'll be we'll create some more chances for him, because we do look good on the break. And Wilson, as I said it earlier on, Wilson looks as though he's up for the fight today. It does look like the team have had a rollicking at some point. Probably is it the new coach impact that we normally experience from like a new manager incoming sort of thing. But this game's here, and I think we can actually get into them, and I do believe we can get something positive out of the game. If I'd managed to get on at the start of the game, I was looking at a 2-1 win for Everton, but there's nothing to stop us getting something out of this game the way we've been playing and the way we can actually hit them on the break, which it was pure example there by Wilson and Fraser there.
Yeah, ASM is warming up, but we're only on 56 minutes, and as Rich quite rightly pointed out, we'll probably not see him for another 10, so we'll see. Chris, ASM, he's going to come on, I would imagine, but 81% possession now for Everton, 19% for Newcastle. It's it's going to take its toll. Newcastle have been playing quite well in the first half, and they started off well in the second half. It's a case of who gets the first goal here, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's 1 or 2 goals max, isn't it? And we just need to try and get a foothold back in the game, because, like you say, the possession, Everton are starting to really crank it up. And I totally agree with what you said earlier, about Everton not quite at the races yet. So as pleasing as it is, that we're heavily involved in this game and we're still in it, let's be honest, Everton haven't been fine, and that is going to, that's not going to stay the same, is it, for the next 33 minutes? So really now is the time to make the change. We need to give them problems, make them have a little think about things. So I think we need to bring ASM on ASAP for the acronyms there, and we also need maybe some fresh legs in the middle. Maybe bring a Matty on. Could even be a game for Andy Carroll. I mean, you know, I all love Andy Carroll, but you know, it could be, you know, ex-Liverpool player. He's going to want to beat these big time. So you know, it's time to freshen it up, and let's hope it happens sooner rather than later.
Sunderland 2, Gillingham 1. Grant Ledbetter has given Sunderland the lead. It's still in the first half. That game is Newcastle and Everton still 0-0. Babbo, second half, has there been a bit of a change in it, do you think?
No, it's just more of the same as we've seen in the first half. And I'm really hoping that Bruce does not wait till the 65th minute, because he's been making the same mistake for 9, 12, 15 weeks. And he doesn't understand that when the legs are gone, the legs are gone. I'm not sure if he's waiting for... To be fair, I think he doesn't want to take on... he doesn't want to take off Miggy, but he wants to keep Fraser on. And I think, who is he going to take off when he brings ASM on? And I think we need to give Lewis like a couple of training sessions on how to clear a ball, because his clearances have been abysmal this match. I don't know what he's been doing, but we definitely need to change it. We definitely can snatch a win. We just need to introduce the fresh legs at the right time.
Yeah, I would agree. It's 50-50 at the minute. A draw would be a fair result. I have a feeling there's going to be a goal in this game. I do think so, 100%. Daz, what's your take? An hour gone. Everton 0, Newcastle 0.
Yeah. Everton up their game here in the second half. We don't, as I said, that we don't have as much of the ball now. Revert back to type, I guess. But yeah, I want to see ASM will be on. Maybe it'll be another 5 minutes. We'll see him. And I'd be looking, as I said at halftime, I'd be looking to get I'm behind, so nothing obviously happens here when Shelby broke through. But yeah, I'd be looking to maybe take off either Shelby or Hendrick. Shelby has a yellow card, so maybe him, and bring on Matty Longstaff as well, just to push forward a bit more. And yeah, ASM shall be interesting then when he arrives.
Yeah, ASM is the one we're all looking for. He's he's got the ability to change this game. Chris, it's more of the same, I feel, in the second half. I've got to agree with the lads, but there is a bit more possession for Everton, but it's fairly even Stevens this game.
Yeah, like it does seem like Everton's woken up a little bit here, as the lads have said. But Newcastle's putting in a fight. We'll see. Anything can happen at this point, but I do probably think that if there's a goal, then the next goal wins. But I'm still holding out for a 0-0 draw. I was going to give the Gillingham update, which you gave, but I also want to report that on Soccer Saturday they had Paul Merson reviewing the Newcastle Leeds game for some reason. I'm not sure why they're rehashing that when we're on to another week. But yeah, that's the update from Soccer Saturday.
Okay, Shaw was pushed over in the box there, but the referee waved it away. We haven't got any VAR on that. Pickford punches the ball out. Shelby has the ball. He's played it against the defender's arm. He said it was not really any animation for a handball apart from Shelby. I'm not sure whether VAR is going to look at it. It looks potentially as if...
I'm very confused. So they gave him a yellow for pushing the box.
His hands are like that.
It's not a penalty.
No, I don't think he'll give that.
VAR has waved that away. We have seen penalties given. Given like that. Al-Walid, what was your take on that? Was that a penalty to you?
Well, it could be Valenti. Like what happened to Pogba once in the season. Same situation.
Go on.
He put his hand like same way.
Go on.
And
yeah, man.
Yeah. And that player should be booked. The one who hit Shar in the face must be booked at least.
Yeah, okay, 62 minutes on the clock. Everton 0, Newcastle 0. Spenny, you were quite animated there. You clearly thought that was a penalty.
Well, he had his hand over his face there. He pulled him down his face. It's far from the penalty, mate, but I'm full of positivity today. I don't want to stay.
Yeah, well, the rule is that the ball hits the hand in any shape or form in the box, then it's a penalty. But the
Newcastle hit his hand, didn't he? They got a penalty for it, didn't it? Was it Fulham or someone?
Yeah, that's right.
We had one in Tottenham where the guy wasn't even facing the ball and he hit his hand and it was a penalty.
Yeah.
Gomez off. I will be on for Everton as the substitutions are getting made on the 63rd minute. Only a matter of time, of course, now before Steve Bruce makes his 65th minute substitution. Take Graeme Jones a few weeks to be able to explain to him that he doesn't have to do it on the 65th minute. Yeah, Pete, it's still 0-0. Newcastle getting a bit more of the ball. Been some great work from Ryan Fraser today. He's certainly done his job today. He's got in, he's crossed the ball in. It's been the misfire and forward line that hasn't been able to put the ball in the back of the net.
I definitely agree.
Well, Fraser's played well today. He's worked hard. What he's doing is making those diagonal runs through the middle that are creating problems for the fullback. But he's working hard, getting back in, doing the job. He won a free kick sort of midway up the pitch, and that just takes the pressure off when Everton start getting the ball and we're struggling to get the ball out. Getting that ball into feet with committing defenders, it just helps the team settle everyone down. So he's done well, and you look, we knew he was a talented player, and we knew he'd missed so much football recently, but he needs games, he needs time in the starting lineup, he needs time to get used to playing with some of these players, and it looks like that's starting to happen, which is positive. So the longer that continues, the better. But look, you look at this team. Oh, well defended. You look at this team, and it just structurally looks so much better than what we've seen for the whole of this season. Let's be honest. This structure and the way that we're playing looks so much better than what we've seen before in a long time. Players look like they know what they're doing. They look like they know what their positions are. We look an attacking threat. Look, I'm not saying we're going to win this game. I'm not saying we're going to get even anything out of this game. But playing like this in the run-up to Southampton and Palace at home, which are games that I believe we can get something out of in both games, it's certainly a lot more positive. But there is still something to get in this game. There's no doubt about it. Everton look shaky at the back, and as long as we have that attacking intent and we stay positive and we don't, in the last 20 minutes, look to just sit further and further back and invite pressure on, then the more likely we can get something from this game.
Yeah, no, I would agree. Newcastle certainly deserves something today, and not something that would have been able to say in the last few weeks. So yeah, and I do think Ryan Fraser's made a difference. Certainly, he's been at the races today. Certainly, he's like a new player today. There's something about him. He's creating the chances. We just need Wilson to put the ball in the back of the net. Rich, 65 minutes gone, and we are making a joke of it, but it is almost as if Steve Bruce only makes these substitutions then. And believe it or not, I can see on the halfway line ASM standing there now, fully stripped and ready to come on.
Predictable, wasn't it? That's what was predictable, as having 10 behind the ball like Bruce has played all season, isn't it? But I think, as some of the lads are saying, we're going back to the penalty. I think the only reason why the penalty might not have been given is because of how close the Newcastle player was to the Everton player. I think that's the only reason why they may not have given it. Because apart from that, the arms were up in an unusual position, as I like to say. So I've been intrigued to see who's going to bring off for ASM, because the front three have done really well. I don't know whether you discussed in the first half. Do you all think it's more like a 4-4-2 diamond sort of formation that Newcastle will be playing, with players sitting in front of the back centre half?
It looks like a 4-3-3 to me.
I think it's a 4-3-3. Yeah.
The diamond formation is basically a wide 4-3-3.
Yeah, I was looking away. Sometimes it set up. It seemed that like Wilson was going out to the right sometimes, a few times. I don't agree. I don't agree with this substitution taking Fraser off from Sam Maximan. I just think that's ridiculous. Fraser's been proven. He's been getting up and down the flanks. He's one of the creative threats that we've actually got to put the ball in. And we know that natural thought process behind Wilson and Fraser. They've got that natural ability. They've played together for so long. That understanding. I just don't understand why they've took them off. I would have probably, took Shelby off and gone with ASM and Fraser, and then Almiron behind, just to see if we can get actually some of it out, and then possibly drop back to like a 4-2-3-1 and
that makes so much sense.
Have Hendrick and Hayden in the middle or something like that. But Let's just see. It might be a Bruce master stroke, but I can't see it.
Yeah. Welcome to Adam, Chris Hall's friend, who is an Everton fan. Good afternoon, Adam.
Afternoon, gents. How we doing?
All right, mate. What do you make of the game then? Newcastle 0, Everton 0, 68 minutes on the clock. We feel it's a bit of a 50-50 this. Obviously, Everton have had more possession in the second half, but Newcastle have had their chances, and Shelby's got a corner again as you join us. But what's your take on the game been?
It's a bit of an nervy one at the moment. I think, obviously, with Alex and Maximin coming on, it's not good for us. If anyone, we need to put this to bed early doors. The longer this goes on, the more it plays into your hands, I think. I don't know what we're going to do in terms of breaking us down at the moment. We've started a couple of things with counters and stuff, but I don't know. We're just not clinical enough.
Yeah, I mean, is this a game where you saw 3 easy points with the way Newcastle were playing?
I think the problem with Everton is that a lot of people don't know outside being a fan, I suppose, is when the whole nation expects you to do something, we don't do it. So I think everyone looked at this and said, Everton 3 points. Newcastle fans probably thought, don't want to go to Goodison Park. I've worried about this game all week, to be honest. It generally wouldn't surprise you if you walk away with 1-0 win. We watched, I think the last time I was watching Newcastle was, we haven't played since lockdown, I don't think, at Goodison, was the 2-2. And it was one of the most comfortable games at Goodison Park we've ever had. Then we walked away with about 28 shots. And that defender, Lejeune, or whatever his name was, scored 2 in the 90th minute.
That's right, Lejeune. Yeah.
Incredible, really.
Yeah, are we a bit of a bogey team, do you think, at Goodison for you at the minute?
Maybe last couple of years. Our record's quite good. I don't think he's beat us at our place for about 10 years. And I usually go everywhere with Everton. I travel home and away. And going to St James's has been quite good the last few years as well. We've had a couple of good results at your place. The 1-0, 2-1s and stuff like that. But yeah, at home, we never ever put you away. It's always like a close game to some extent, even if we have been on top. Obviously, you've got different caliber of players nowadays, rather than your Alan Shearers and that back then. But I don't know, man. Like, this is just it's on a knife edge at the moment. I'd agree. It's very 50-50. It could go either way.
Yeah, could do, mate. Could do. Well, thanks for joining us, Chris. Good to have Adam on for a different perspective. And 70 minutes played, 20 minutes to go. ASM's on, bizarrely, on the 65th minute. As we always seem to say on this show, that is when the substitutions get made. Well, it was 66, yeah. But it is always 65th minute plus that we make these bloody substitutions. It's as if it's in some kind of book somewhere that's when it has to be done. I really don't understand it. But yeah, strange substitution, wasn't it, taking Ryan Fraser off? Because Fraser's had a great game. He's my man of the match. I don't care what ASM does in this next 20 minutes. Fraser was outstanding.
Yeah, I think he's really unlucky to be taken off. I mean, as you know, I'm a big fan of Miggy and his work rate, but being honest, I probably would have took Miggy off over Fraser. I think Fraser's been outstanding, like you, Steve, and he was causing problems. I mean, even when he won that header, he's about 5'2", and he won the header, and I thought, he just needs to win a games, and he needs to be given a chance. But yeah, we all know. I think we all know. Our big threat is St Maximin, and having him on the pitch, we look a better team. And going forward, he does, provide that bigger threat for us. But let's see what this last 20 minutes bring. As Adam's just alluded to, then it's very 50-50, and it does feel like it's on a knife edge, both probably for Everton and for us. And like you said, Steve, it looks like it's a 1-0 either side, doesn't it? I mean, obviously a point away at Everton, we'd have all took that, before the game kicked off. But based on the last 71, 72 minutes, I want 3 points here, and I think it's there for the taking. So let's hope we can, do something in this last 20.
Yeah, I think Daz made a good point when he said we could have taken Shelby on and brought ASM on, so we go attacking, but Bruce is not playing with this 1 point he's gonna have, so he's gonna try and protect it.
Yeah.
Oh, is that a goal?
Oh! You don't be fucking around. Don't fuck around. I'm a minute behind, you guys. Let me stay ready. I told you good vibes.
I'm way behind. I'm not 27 minutes yet.
I guess the one we're drinking now, Pete.
Oh, what a header.
Can you join us every week, Adam?
Whoa.
What?
I tell you what, that was a wonderful header. It was a corner from Shelby, front post again. The problem is for Everton here that Richarlison was asked to pick up Wilson first time round in the first half and didn't do it. He's been asked to do it again and he's completely let his man go. Wilson has managed to get the same header that he got in the first half. This time he's connected again and put it beyond Pickford. And yeah, that is 1-0 to Newcastle on the 72nd minute. What a goal.
To be fair, that's Graeme Jones' work. Because I looked at his tactics from Luton Town over the weekend, and that was basically what he always does for his corners. So that is definitely down to Mr. Green.
Yep, those little arms couldn't reach it, says our local hero. Babo, can we hold on then, I suppose, is the question.
If we play to hold on, we will not.
Yeah, Everton pushing forward though. You're always susceptible for a goal within that first 5 minutes of afterwards. And Adam, let's come to you, mate. It's you were right. It could have gone either way. Ancelotti looking a bit frustrated on the sidelines, but Everton have got a corner, so Newcastle are susceptible to conceding goals in the second half. So it's not all over yet.
Yeah, it's one of them. I think now it plays into Bruce's hands. I think you can have Steve round for your 70-odd minutes, and now Steve Bruce comes into his element for the last 18. Hold on to a 1-0 lead and just letting us batter you for the last 20 minutes will probably be his game plan. I've got an interesting question for all of you, though. What does this mean long term? Is this a good result long term?
For Newcastle, go on then, Daz. I'll let you answer that.
I think myself, Adam. I think we're stuck with Bruce. Even if we draw, win, lose or draw here, we're stuck with Bruce anyway. With the Graeme Jones was the switch that they made up. We're going to be stuck with Bruce. And in terms of the transfer market and the window closing, I think whatever they have planned, they won't go changing those plans now. So it won't. The result won't have mattered an awful lot.
Beautiful.
No matter what way it turns out, but so yeah, long term, I think it won't affect us. To tell you the truth, Adam.
Fair.
Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, I think I'm sort of with Daz. This one match doesn't seal Bruce's fate either way. I'm sort of inclined to those reports that said that Steve Bruce is with us till the end of the season, no matter what, which is obviously unfortunate. But yeah, Steve Bruce does tend to get lucky in those times when we're most down on him, then he pulls out a result. Not for his skill, or it's more out of sheer luck. He's a pretty lucky man.
Okay, Rich, what's your answer to Adam's question there?
I think the one if it stays like this, the one plus it's going to have for us, it's increasing our chance to stay in the league. It's not going to have any changes regards to who's in the managerial hot seat under this regime. That's been made blatantly obvious until it get. The only way that you'll change it is if we go into the bottom three. He's proved that before. So Bruce will be there as long as he can because he's the cheapest option. But the result stays like this is a huge positive, as in it's going to increase that gap between us and the bottom three because a few teams have started to pull away. So we've got to start doing the same. So fingers crossed. I just hope that they don't, revert to their old tactics now and try and get everybody behind the ball. I know obviously we've got to defend and protect what we've got, but at the end of the day, we can also, we still need to look at threat going forward as well, which we have for the whole game. So I think this result's a huge positive in the short term and the long term for us because of the takeover that's possibly ongoing still.
Okay, Al-Walid, what's your views?
I'm sorry, can you just
repeat? Yeah, Adam was just wanting to know does this change anything? With Newcastle's getting a 1-0 up in this game, and obviously Graeme Jones coming in, and does it change anything at Newcastle?
It's still early. It's 30 minutes. It's quite a lot, but so far, usually, it's have positive impact when you bring someone new. Usually, we notice this in the teams, but we notice when the manager gets sacked and gets by a new one. But we obviously see something today that Graeme Jones not just he didn't just came for just to join the coaching staff, as you came for the first job is for the coach or manager position.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that'll happen if Steve Bruce, Steve Bruce ends up taking Newcastle further into the relegation positions. But let's hope we can hold on today. PD says, good question, Adam. Main priority is not getting relegated. Don't really think Bruce would be sacked anyway if you beat us today. So that's interesting. A lot of people praising Shaw as well. Pete, your take?
Quite simple. Long-term future, we haven't got one. Not right now. That's just the reality. The reality is our long-term future is with new owners. And until that's resolved, we haven't got a long-term future. In the short term, it's quite simple. Points. We need points on the board. It doesn't matter what manager's in charge. We need a team that's playing a certain style of way that is allowing us to get points. And the way we've played today is allowing us to potentially, not guaranteed, fingers crossed, get us some points on the board. And that's what we need to do, stay in this league in order for us to maximise our chances of the takeover happening, and then we've got a long-term future. And our long-term future is, hopefully, success.
Okay, Adam, what's your take on those answers then? Is that something you'd expect? Because I think as an Everton fan, you obviously don't pay attention to Newcastle unless you're playing them. But I suppose it must surprise you at some of the opinions that you hear.
Yeah, I think he's in a bit of a rut there. I suppose you watch Lampard get sacked midweek, and you're thinking, how can he get sacked? And you lot stick with Bruce. You know, he's done a lot less of a worse job. Obviously, he's spent 20 million times more than what Bruce could have ever spent in terms of transfers, but you lost like 5, and you've not won 11, something like that. It's a bit crazy, but I suppose as a football fan, you kind of know that Mike Ashley doesn't want to put his money in his pocket, and he's not one of them where he's just going to go and get rid of a manager next week to bring in another one the week after. He wants to spend as little money as possible. We all know Bruce is on big wages, so it's a bit of as a fan, it's a bit of a tough situation, I suppose. Obviously, with Graeme Jones being brought in, it's going to be an interesting one as well. I just don't understand how that can work. I think at the start of the match, BT were doing a thing where he kept going on the managers, and like he kept stepping out and like shouting over Bruce and stuff, which obviously as a Newcastle fan is probably encouraging, but from a neutral kind of thinking, how does Bruce feel about that?
Yeah, a lot of people on Twitter pointing out the fact that Graeme Jones, of course, seems to be in the driving seat as far as coaching the team is concerned. Certainly looks as if he's having a difference. Some people saying that's what a Newcastle fan should look like on the sidelines, which is a good point. 10 minutes to go. Everton 0, Newcastle 1. Can we hold on, Chris Hall?
I hope so. Do you know what, Steve? My throat is burning. I just went nuts then. The mother-in-law's had a voice note. She's got it. Adam, sorry, I'm going to forward it to you later. I just went mad. Like that elation, that feeling. And literally, I think for about 10 or 15 seconds, I just lost myself. Like, I missed that feeling. How long have we waited for that? The last time, in fact, weirdly enough, Adam, the last time that I felt like that was at Goodison Park when we got that equaliser, because I was in the away end, mate. What a feeling! Yeah, do you know what? We've got 10 minutes to go here. Everton, predictably, as we've said, it looks like we're sitting back and trying to cling on to this win. I don't want to see that. I want to see us, carry on as we were in the same vein, and just try and push for that seconds, because as they say, the best form of defence is attack. Now I'm not saying go all out, but if you sit in the box and you invite this Everton team, who've got the likes of James Rodriguez, who can put the ball through an eye of a needle, you're on a hiding to nothing. So I'm hoping the lads, don't sit back too much, and they push forward and utilise it maximum. He'll get you that extra 20-30 yards up the pitch, take the pressure off the back line. That's what we need. But yeah, just so happy. I've struggled there not to smile. So I'm going to let someone else carry on, and I'm just going to smile.
Babu, we've got 8 minutes left. Everton 0, Newcastle 1.
There are danger signs flashing for me.
Yeah.
We are conceding a lot of set pieces. We are starting to fall back 30 yards back into our own zone. If I was Bruce, right now, I will put on an attacker like Gill, who I know will give the defenders a run for their money, just to keep them off my goal. But for some reason, he's not going to do that. And the danger is we're going to concede really, really late. And the red lights are flashing, but it seems like we're not seeing it, which is scary because I'm very sure all of us know that if we try and defend this lead, we're going to either draw or lose. But I'm hoping, because like my head is telling me one thing, my heart is telling me another. So I'm trying to keep the faith, but we need to change something quickly.
Yeah, 9.4 kilometres Almiron's covered. He's the top performer today. Doucouré is Everton's closest on 8.9. But yeah, his work rate's been superb, Daz.
Mickey.
Yeah, he's done well, Steve. Right now, I'm celebrating a draw because I don't want to let myself believe that that we're going to hold on to win this. But let's see how it plays out. You're a minute ahead of me, so I'm watching this, but I'm really watching you because that's where the reaction will come from. So let's hope we can hang on.
Yeah, fingers crossed, Chris. And it's 84 minutes gone. Obviously, we've got stoppages to be added to this as well. Been a few yellow cards in this game, Chris.
Spenny.
You're on mute. You're on mute, mate.
Yeah, Sam, I'm also with Daz. I'm a minute behind on the stream here.
Yeah, but you've took a minute to come on air by muting yourself, mate. So you should be up to date now.
Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic that we can pull this one out, and I hope that Chris Hall's got his takeaway pizza picked out.
Banquet, mate. Banquet.
Yeah. So we'll see. This is obviously like somewhat of a different Newcastle squad feel from the last couple of matches, but let's see if we can continue this. I'm not going to call it momentum, but let's say a different feel. Let's see if we can carry on this different feel ahead because we need all the points we can get. To get sort of halfway to that magic number of 40 would be great because we've been stuck on 19 for a while. But, anything could happen in the last couple of minutes. As we've seen with Everton before, pulling out that 2-2 draw a couple of years ago. So crossing my fingers here, crossing my toes, but just holding on for dear life that we pull this one out.
85 minutes on the clock, plus stoppages. So that answers your question, Gary. Hendrick being criticised a lot. Spenny, what's your take on him? We're being asked about him by Tom Dixon. What's your take on Hendrick? You see, I said this at the start of the season. I wasn't a critic of Hendrick. He's one of those players who does a lot of work, which goes unseen. Which he doesn't get a lot of praise. He has to do the dirty work. But what's your take on him today? Has he played his part?
Every player's doing his part today. I don't matter who he has. He's had a tackle or whatever it is. I think Hayden's had a fantastic time as the position he's playing now. Totally. For me, Hendricks is like what you just said there. Go on. He's a bit of a David Buddy. He's turn out the game.
Wilson's hit the post. He took it round Pickford. Left foot was difficult angle, and he hit the post. So Newcastle still pressing for a second goal. Go on, Spenny.
Going back to the lad who was Everton's fans' question, it's about the 3 points. Always about the 3 points at Newcastle, regardless of the takeover, the manager, the players. It's the 3 points that matters.
Handball.
Yeah, we're just seeing a replay. The ball bounced off the post, hit back off Pickford, and hit off the defender and hit off his hand. But
looks like he's put a back seat there the second half, hasn't he? He's been sat back.
Did you see the look as well, Spenny, when it zoomed in on him, and he was like looking at Bruce as if to say, "Oh, I wonder if he'll let me out." I really wouldn't surprise me because even when he was shouting in the first half, he was like walking round Bruce to keep away from him. I wonder whether Bruce has said to him, "Listen, you pipe down, mate, and you sit down."
Yeah, something's happened there. Like,
see, this is the part about men's ego that's very bad.
Too many cooks
You are-
spoil the broth.
yeah, well, Bruce
Yeah.
is now a cook. He's barely a sous chef. So he needs to check his ego and be like, I need to learn from this guy. One thing I've learned is that after watching Bruce's tactics, I realized he's managed for over 20 years, but he's not improved over those 20 years.
He's
It's
never
the same
mentioned
thing.
that. He's never mentioned that, Babu. I've never heard him go on about that.
That he has 20 years of experience managing.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah, no, he mentions it every. I've been here long enough now.
Yeah, I'm
I've
like,
taken
you've
the
been here long
knocks.
enough, but you clearly
When I was
stopped
a lad.
learning.
Nah.
When I was a lad, yeah. 88 minutes.
yell at that.
Hendrick's first booking of the season, and 88 minutes. Everton 0, Newcastle 1. Rich, talk us through your views on this second half.
It's been really positive. The whole performance all day has been positive. I don't know how Hendrick can get a yellow card for that since he got the ball. But all I think has been the follow through. I just thought it was a nice, what we would call a nice 50-50 tackle back in our day, Steve.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
It definitely on it. I think I just hope we can hold on here. This could be such a turning point in the season. This, especially going into the Palace game on, which is a very winnable game on Tuesday night. That 6 points from these two games, it's something that we wouldn't have expected before the Leeds game, at least. That last second half on Tuesday night, they've at least been able to build on it, and I think, we're presuming that Graeme Jones is one of the reasons for that. So I just fingers crossed. We're done. Probably 3-4 minutes, hopefully, to hold on, and seriously, this result could be a big turning point in our season.
Yeah, it could be. Certainly could be. Al-Walid, you're probably going to take us into injury time. 89 minutes on the clock as Everton are caught offside. Everton 0, Newcastle 1. This second half, what's your views been on the second half?
We did great so far. I was maybe 10 minutes earlier. I wish if they just refresh the defense midfielder. They look very exhausted. Hayden, actually, I like him in the middle field much more better than in defense area. So far, finger crossed. I'm not sure about the 5 minutes. Oh my god! So
5 minutes at a
5
time.
minutes to hold on.
Yeah. Way to give people heart attack. Why can't we just throw someone on now to just solidify everything? I don't understand why Bruce is managing the bench. And also, why is Joe Linton on the bench? I thought he was supposed to be facing disciplinary blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it's interesting that we haven't talked about that. Pete, will come to you. Joe Linton just obviously decided to go for a lockdown haircut and then stick it on Instagram. Not the wisest of moves. And yeah, he's now sitting on the bench. Quite wise on the bench when the club was supposed to be disciplining them. I really don't know. But yeah, it's the best place for him, of course. But yeah, what's your view on that?
Well, look, no other professional footballers walking around with mullets and afros. So clearly people are getting haircuts from somewhere. You know what I mean? But it was a very stupid move to actually put it on social media. Oh, Shelby, unlucky with the free kick. Yeah, it was just very, very stupid to put it on social media, and I think that's the thing. That's the thing that I think that he's been pulled up for.
Yeah, there's the picture there. That's what he put up on his Instagram anyway. Yeah. At least he didn't get his hair dyed blue because we were playing Everton. I mean, he did dye his hair red when we were playing Liverpool. I mean, it's, I suppose there is one little bit of bright news on that.
Definitely. But, look, for me, all professionals are doing it. It's not a thing, but it was just a very stupid move to put it on social media that he's actually doing it. Put a picture of your hair on after you've had your hair cut and do a selfie. Do all that business afterwards. Don't do it whilst you're actually doing it, because it's going to set you up to get a load of stick. But look, more importantly, the game. I am shitting myself right now. Shitting myself. And go on, Lewis, stay up. Playing.
Go.
Wilson's got the ball. We've got one-on-one with Pickford. Wilson.
Yeah!
I told you guys, positive vibes.
Yes, lads.
Oh, I missed this. Really.
Was a good.
Sorry. We don't mean to be disrespectful. It's just
Sorry, Art.
It's been a while.
Yeah, sorry, Adam. It's not very often we get a goal, never mind 2 goals, and very rarely we get 3 points, Adam.
We're really looking at this mascot.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That was great. Lewis, a great ball by Lewis. Wilson was unmarked on his own in the middle. He had a one-on-one with Pickford and just stroked it past the oncoming Pickford into the bottom corner. And Newcastle United are 2-0 up. And Callum Wilson has just been awarded the BT Sport Man of the Match, and I think he's just cemented it there. But 2 wonderful goals from Callum Wilson after such a barren spell. And yeah, I mean, that goal, you won't get sick of seeing it, Newcastle fans. It is one to remember. And two great goals, 2-0. Adam, come to you, mate. Disappointing for you. 2 minutes on the clock now. Game dead and buried. Steve Bruce turns away and collapses. No embracing with Graeme Jones, it has to be said. There must be strict COVID rules about that. But yeah, it's disappointing for you, mate. But that was another good goal, I think you've got to admit.
Yeah, it's like carbon copy of the home game if you think about the reverse fixture. I think the second goal he's on the counter for that as well. Obviously, the first one was a penalty. Second one, I think he's on the counters. Same thing again, but obviously we pushed everyone for the corner. Yeah, disappointing result, but I think if you ask most Evertonians who know the stuff about Everton, it's not surprising really. Everyone expected Newcastle to take another defeat today, and if you look at it from a non-optimistic side, it's sort of expected.
Wilson is making a charge through for a hat-trick here. He's been brought down by the Everton defender. The wave away from the referee dictates that Wilson probably went down a little bit prematurely. And we've got 30 seconds left. Everton pushing on, looking for a consolation goal. But yeah, all much dead and buried. So, Chris, as it is the Chris Hall derby, we might as well finish with you, mate, and then you can give us your assessment of the game overall. But let's finish out on this game. Newcastle just taking the ball up into the corner. Got about 10 seconds left, Chris.
Fantastic, isn't it? Absolutely fantastic. I mean, Adam, honestly, mate, this is the best we've played in months, and I do feel a bit sorry for you, mate, because you're just being. It's probably like double torture for you, but yeah, honestly, we really need these points, and you know. I suppose the one little thing you can take from this game is that you just haven't really turned up today, have you? It's just not been one of those games for yourselves. But you're not taking anything away from Newcastle today. You know, we've seen lots of effort. Well done, boys. Well done.
Full time. Newcastle United win 2-0. There is a little fist bump between Steve Bruce and Graeme Jones at the end, and look, if Graeme Jones has had anything to do with that, then well done him, because you know, he's certainly come in. One of our panel, I can't remember who it was there, mentioned that this is the kind of thing he does at Luton. Graeme Jones, I think it was Babu, he mentioned it. But look, well done. It's nice to see smile on Newcastle fans' faces on the panel. Even better to see the players on the pitch coming off and smiling, celebrating. A clean sheet, which is important for Darlow, and 2 goals for Callum Wilson. And ASM, Dwight Gale and Wilson all standing there congratulating each other. And it must be good for Steve Bruce, because it's not fun being a manager when things are going against you. Me and most Newcastle fans have been very critical of him. This will be a good night for Steve Bruce, and Graeme Jones is on the pitch cuddling Callum Wilson. So look, there is a bit of unity there. Whatever this means, who knows? But what it does mean is Newcastle are now on 22 points, still sitting in 16th place, but have opened up a 4-point gap now on Brighton, who still have a game in hand. But most importantly, Fulham, who are in third bottom position, who are on 13 points. That is 9-point gap now between us and Fulham. So look, a win's a win. It's an important one. Everton dropped down to 7th. That leaves them on 33 points with a +5 goal difference, hanging around those dreaded Europa League places, which is never the European competition anybody wants to be in. Chris Hall, let's come to you first then, mate. Give us your views on that game, and give us your man of the match, please.
I don't know what to say, Steve. What a result. Fantastic performance. You could probably pick out a number of players for man of the match today. You know, it was lovely then to see the players embracing. You know, it looks like a happy camp. Obviously, they've been really pleased with, they've obviously put some real hard work in, in the build-up to this game. The efforts have shown on the pitch today. You know, we've been in the game for the whole 90 minutes. You know, I can't even remember the period where, I was shouting, whinging, You know, I was a little bit concerned about Carl Zarlo in the early stages, but fair credit to him. He made a couple of important saves while it was still 0-0. So again, another solid game from Carl. Yeah, great performance, much needed, long overdue, and you know, going into the Palace game now, you know, we're all going to be queuing up, aren't we, to get involved with that game next week, because it was a pleasure to watch that match and I really enjoyed it. Can't wait for match of the day tonight. So my man of the match, I'm going to have to give it to Wilson. I you know, like you, Steve, before Fraser came off, I would say he was man of the match, but Wilson today, clinical. Don't forget, he scored 2 goals. He could have had his hat-trick. Fantastic header, which I believe Pickford put onto the bar, so it was a good save. But yeah, Wilson for me today. Long may it continue, and let's hope we see some more goals from him next Tuesday against Palace at home.
Okay, good stuff, mate. Babu, your man of the match as Callum Wilson gets interviewed on BT Sports. Your man of the match, and just to give us your views on that performance today.
Definitely Callum Wilson, because he was battling with those defenders. I mean, Yeremina and Keane are not the easiest people to get into a physical altercation with, but he held his ground. I think we've also gotten the number 9. Well, as soon as we get the number from Joe Linton, the strong centre forward that we've always wanted, that will be able to battle upfield. I think it's good. It's definitely better. I think on goal, the formation says it's a 4-3-1-2. Well, whatever they did today is definitely working, and it's a lot better than the 5 at the back. So let's see how that progresses. I mean, it's our first win in 11, so we just need to keep putting those bricks on the wall piece by piece, and eventually we'll get to that safe point that it seems the entire Newcastle hierarchy is looking to get to, and then we can go from there. But it's a great shift from the lads.
Yeah, great shift from the lads. Good way to describe it. Daz, you've probably just finished the match there, but look, 2-0. Yeah. Great result.
5 minutes extra time actually here, Steve.
Is it?
No, just finished. No, delighted with the win. The lads put in a shift. 3 standout performances. Graeme Jones for a bit of organisation and holding it together. Adam for coming on and as our lucky mascot. I feel sorry for you. I've endured Chris Hall's voice notes before, so I know what's coming for you. And the man match for me would be Wilson. And it's great. Now we can look forward to the Palace game, and we've got 22 points after 21 games. If we can keep that balance and keep getting a few more points, safety is all I want. I don't care who's the manager for the rest of the season, as long as we get safety. And you know what I hope for after that.
Chris, great result, mate. Clean sheet, 2 great goals. Newcastle United, 3 points. Happy days.
Yeah, totally unexpected. We have a thing with that with Everton of recent years. Like Chris Hall, I would say that my man of the match was Fraser while he was on, and then of course Wilson for delivering the goods. You know, can't ask for more.
Okay, Spenny, your views on that game and your man of the match. Do you think Steve Bruce might give some praise to Graeme Jones in the after-match press conference?
I think Georgie might be giving their ass away next time he comes out. I'll tell you what, 3 points is no better than 3 points when Newcastle win. Nothing better than you when Newcastle win. Don't tell our last mind. There's no better. But yeah. Fair enough, Everton, good team. But I saw it like in the game, the lads saw it, some of the lads saw it, we're building up. 2-0, absolutely fantastic. And I've got my Supermac top on, I'm never going to take it off till we lose.
Tuesday, so.
Just with that header, the header like Supermac's won it.
Yeah, it was. Great goal. Two great goals, wonderful. And Rich, your man of the match, please, and just a review of the game.
I just think there's so many positives to take from the game. Well, you see all the panels, smiles on their faces for Ritchie, and we've never had them since the West Brom game. So that's a huge positive. We'll all have a good day to day as well. All the lads, people in the chat and everything as well who've been watching the show. Wilson, man of the match for me. I think one of the huge things about that is he missed that chance off the Fraser ball through, But as a typical centre forward, he didn't let that get to him, and he still had 3 fantastic chances, 2 of them which he was lucky enough to put away. He hit the woodwork twice. So for me, man of the match on that. Other positives, clean sheet, which we haven't had since the Liverpool game. So that's a huge positive, and that'll be a big lift, especially after the rough start that Darlow had at the start, where he seemed a little bit uneasy. I think just the whole performance going forward, I think that's going to be absolutely huge. And obviously, the getting 6 points against Barney in goal was fantastic for us as well. I think that'll be fantastic for the NUFC fan base on Twitter later on. And the only thing I feel a little bit disappointed for is Liam, who's just joined the match day live. He hasn't experienced a win yet in the first look. He's not here.
He has just inboxed us to say it's clearly his fault.
Well, you'll have to see whether it's touch and go, whether you can make it on Tuesday, then.
Al-Walid, happy days, a win at last.
Finally, actually, I want to ask you all, and most of the panel expect a win. Why is that? Yeah.
Is it the Graeme? Well, we're getting asked. Is it the Graeme Jones effect? It's clearly got to be something to do with just having a bit of a game plan. A lot of people point to the fact that we didn't sit back once we went 1-0 up. So look, there's clearly something happened there. I doubt anybody will admit that, but obviously I'll be interested to hear the interviews. Callum Wilson being pushed out because of the 2 goals. Obviously, is the man to speak about Newcastle tonight. I'm sure any reporter worth their salt will ask that question. Is it the Graeme Jones effect? It's got to be, I think, Al-Walid. That would be my view. I don't know what anybody else thinks. Yeah.
Think so.
Have a show of hands. I think Graeme Jones has probably had an effect on that today. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're all calling it the placebo effect. I think
placebo.
It's just we had plans for set pieces, especially the corners, and moving Hayden from being in a back 3 to just cancelling everything that comes in front of that back 4 kind of gave Manquillo and Lewis a lot to work with, because usually they're always trying to keep up. And I don't understand why Bruce keeps playing players that are not fully fit from the start. Like Lascelles, we could all see from the last match that he wasn't fully fit. So I don't understand that. The man is just ruining some people's careers, and hopefully he can change. Maybe Graeme Jones will give him a little bit of a lift.
Yeah, Mirdad Al-Walid, obviously potential, one of the potential new owners, has just tweeted "get in" as well on social media, which of course will have Newcastle fans delighted that he's delighted. But yeah, I mean, what do you think, Al-Walid? Is it the Graeme Jones effect? Can a man come in and make such a difference behind the scenes? When he's clearly just a coach.
Could be. But let's not forget that we on the home game we win against Everton, so we take 6 points from them. So I believe there is a virus called the Bruce virus work against the Italian manager, maybe.
Yeah. Okay, mate. Good stuff. Who was your man of the match, Al-Walid? Sorry.
Graeme Jones.
Graeme Jones, okay. Pete.
Wilson,
okay. Pete, over to you, mate.
I'm just fucking buzzing. Sorry, Adam, but I'm buzzing. We've been waiting a long time for this. Going through these match day lives and see if the dross that we've been served up over the weeks. Right, I'm just going to enjoy every moment of this. So, I'm buzzing right now. Look, man of the match has to be Callum Wilson. He was outstanding today. And he showed another England striker how to play an attacking role. He was absolutely spot on. But you could go through the team. I've got special mentions today. Miggy Almiron, for me, was a very close second. I know you guys really rated Fraser's performance, and he was good. But Miggy Almiron has just got a new lease of life under him from the Leeds game going into today. He looks happy. He looks happy going forward. He's driving. He's committing defenders, and he's working his socks off like he always does. Really good to see. Another one for me, Jamal Lewis. He's had so much stick from so many fans, and sometimes deservedly so. I have to say, he was fantastic today. That performance, getting forward and back, being able to give him the license to get forward and knowing he's going to have that support and being given the confidence to do so, and obviously having a hand in getting his assist for Wilson's goal. Outstanding. That's what we paid 30 million for. That's why Liverpool wanted him. That's why we paid 30 million. 23 years old, he's still got loads to progress under a better manager, a better regime. I can guarantee he could quite easily be our left back for the next 10 years. And that's what we saw today. It's only one game, granted, but it's an improvement. We definitely looked better when Clark came on for Lascelles as a defensive unit. It just struck Manquillo. Manquillo was outstanding at right back. His commitment was brilliant. You could go through the team. It was just so good to see. A massive, valuable 3 points. We talk about Bruce all we want, and we want him out. And yes, I still want him out. 3 points won't make the difference to that. However, we just need points on the board to stay in this fucking league. All right, and we got 3 massive points today. And that's going to give us confidence going into those 2 home games coming up against Palace and Southampton, who aren't playing great, either of them at the moment. We can get points on the board now. Confidence. We keep playing this style of football, right? And we can get points against these teams. So we're coming out of this with a lot of positivity today. So I'm just buzzing. I'm absolutely buzzing. Great performance. Performance of the season.
Yeah, I'd be hard pushed to find one where we didn't, deserve the 3 points as much. And that, look, it was a game where it has to be said, Everton played their part. They probably weren't at the races, Adam. I think when you first came on, we were all, a draw would have been a fair result. But the difference today was, Callum Wilson did eventually take his chances. The warning signs were there. Richarlison certainly didn't pick him up the first time round when he hit the bar with that header, and ultimately paid the price by not picking him up the second time.
Yeah, definitely. I think that was Wilson's 8th goal of the season, 4 of them against us. So he must want to play Everton every single week.
Yeah.
First time he's done a double over since 2002 as well. It's painful. Yeah, like I said, the very start when I came on, when the nation and the bookies are looking at it and they've priced Everton as sure price favourites, warning signs all over it. And that's just for future reference. If you ever want to have a bet on Everton, stay away from us when we're odds on. But obviously, it's from us. Obviously, I'm seeing a different angle. I've seen your side where you're all made up, and it's quite strange to see, but in a good way. I think long term, it's a bit of a strange one. Obviously, you want to stay in the league. That's the main thing. But does this get boosted at the end of the season? I'm not too sure. What happens if you get beat by Crystal Palace midweek? You're back to square one again. I'm not too sure. The only thing I really want to say is obviously you've all went mad and said your man of the match was Wilson, and obviously it's hard to take that away. He scored 2 goals and got both of them for the win. But I'm a big fan of Almiron. I think he'd do well in most teams. His work rate's fantastic. I haven't watched most of him, since he's arrived at Newcastle, but I watched a lot of him at Atlanta. And he was the magician, he was the man in the middle. But now he's got a completely different role at Newcastle, and he takes it with both hands and he works hard. And I think sometimes those players go into the radar, but I was impressed by him today. He was the one, I think you highlighted at one point, he ran the most. And it's not just running in circles he was doing, he was getting stuck in and he made it hard work and he kept that press on us, sometimes on his own. So Almiron was man of the match for me. Disappointing from an Everton point of view. We've got to try and pick ourselves up and go again midweek. And I don't know where it leaves us because we've kind of like fallen behind the pack a little bit when we had 2 games in hand. But it's just us. We're always a yo-yo, so we'll go again.
Yeah, well, listen, good luck for the rest of the season, Adam. Thanks for jumping on, mate. You'll be more than welcome to come back on next season when we play you again, hopefully. And big shout out to everybody in the chat. As always, fantastic to have such great support on Matchday Lives. Over 450 watching most of the time today, which is great, and including a lot of fans from other clubs. Big shout out to everybody who tunes in, and some of the nice messages we've had. One in particular there from Glenn Kitely, who's an Arsenal fan. He says, "I'm so happy for Newcastle fans having played you twice recently. I felt the pain. Now, just so you know, I had a dream that Wilson scored and Newcastle got 2 goals and Brucey signed a new contract." You were doing all right, Glenn, until you got to that last bit. Yeah. Joe Walker, he says 12-0 against Palace. Listen, let's not get too carried away. But listen, it's been a great day. That man, for me, Fantastic. Well done. Scored 2 great goals. I'm not going to change my mind. I still think Ryan Fraser had one of his best games in a yellow shirt today, and he deserved it. But Wilson certainly got the goals, and fantastic. Well done. As always, panel, being absolutely great to have you on. Look forward to seeing you all again for the Palace game. Have a good night. I'm sure you will. And if you can't be good, be careful. Take care.
Yes!
Yeah, have a lovely day.
Wow.